Good evening, everyone. I will now call in for the meeting of the Burbank Board of Education, May 15. We acknowledge the traditional ancestral unceded territory of the Chumash Tangwa, Fernandio, Tatwam, and the First Nations on which we are learning, educating, and living. Can I have Ms. Catherine Colvin Marvin from Providencia to come up for the lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? And the Masonic Teacher of the Years.
How did I do this? Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you very much, Ms. Colvin Marvin. Ms. Quetiero, please take the roll call at this time.
Member Cano? Member Weisberg?
Present.
Clerk Tabit?
Present.
Vice President Ponser Kamkar?
Present.
President Nagakanian?
Present, we have 5 members, we have quorum. Can I go to the closed session items now? Thank you. All right. There were 3 items on the closed session. On 3A, this was regarding a matter of expulsion, student number 960034058. We had a motion by Board Clerk Tabit. Aye. And we had a second, we had a motion by Vice President Ponser Kamkar, and then we had a second by Board Clerk Tabit. The votes for 5. Motion passed unanimously. The next item was item 3C. This was the acceptance of written determination and decision. This was had to do with the Board of Education that we met and voted to approve the acceptance of written determination and decision regarding employee number CT185-24. Motion was made by Vice President Ponser Kamkar, and Dr. Weisberg seconded it. Ayes were 5. Motion passed unanimously. We also had the Board of Education also took action to approve employee separation agreement. We had another one that was motion by Vice President Ponser Kamkar and seconded by Dr. Weisberg. Also, that one had 5-0. Motion passed unanimously. Last items, we had several of them. Matter of readmittance of student 960043800. That one, the motion was made by Vice President Ponser Kamkar and Dr. Weisberg seconded it. That was a 5 yeses. Motion passed unanimously. Next one, we had on a matter of same thing, readmittance of student number 960033615. Motion was made by Vice President Ponser Kamkar and seconded by yours truly, Dr. Agakania. Ayes were 5. Motion passed unanimously. Next one was a matter of readmittance of student 960021597. Motion was made by Dr. Weisberg, seconded by Vice President Ponser Kamkar. Ayes were 5. That one also passed unanimously. And last one, in a matter of readmittance of student 960030231, motion was made by Dr. Weisberg, seconded by Vice President Ponser Kamkar. That one also had 5 ayes. Motions passed unanimously. Yeah, we were busy. Next, item 6, adjustment to the agenda. We had asked about item number 15, right? So we're removing item 15. Anything else? Dr. Weisberg.
I'd like to remove 12F to be brought back at the next meeting.
Okay, there, 12F, My colleagues, are you okay with that?
Sorry, it's the item that discusses childcare and fee increase.
That's no problem.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? All right, next to item 7, any items for future agenda? Dr. Weisberg.
More checking in on what we think an ETA would be to talk about the positions that we contract out as far as cost versus hiring in-house. And also just sort of an ETA on a discussion around special education settlements. So nothing new, I think just a revisit.
Thank you.
Vice President,
I have a question. When you say contract out, do you mean teacher
Talk into the
positions?
microphone.
Teacher positions that are under contract because they can't be filled, like SLPs and special ed
So I think part of the
folks?
conversation is understanding how many of those are positions that we have yet to fill versus how many of them we've been contracting out but haven't flown.
Okay,
So that's absolutely part of the conversation.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes,
Yes.
and I forgot to write them down, and they went right out of my head as soon as he said next. One is, thank you, Mr. Cantwell, for setting up the architecture look-see committee. There's probably a better word for that, but that was it for right now. When that information comes back, we need to, transparency-wise, we need to bring those all to the board so that they can vote on them. I'm
course.
not sure that, I just reminding us. And now I remember the other one. In August, could we please have a board report on the Kids Community Dental Clinic that services many of our students throughout the district? I
No
don't think a
problem.
lot of people know about it, so. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Emily, this is just, I wanted to just get clarification from you because this is something I'd asked John. I said, when we're using SPED consultants, my question had, what sort of accountability then do we have? So is that kind of where you're going with that on?
No, but I certainly think that's a great
Okay.
conversation to
Okay.
have.
Could we maybe include something like that?
Of course.
Just so I said, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right. Moving to item 8, presentation and recognitions. The first one is 8A, recognition of the 2025 California Distinguished School recipient. Dr. Harris, can you please come to the podium?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Board President Agakanian, board members, Superintendent Paramo, colleagues, and community. A lot of community here tonight. We are delighted, more than delighted, to announce that Providencia Elementary School has been honored with the prestigious California Distinguished School Award by the California Department of Education. This accolade is a testament to the unwavering dedication, hard work, and excellence of the entire school community. The California Distinguished School Award recognizes exceptional student achievement in English language arts and mathematics. The students have demonstrated remarkable progress and excellence, reflecting the high-quality education and support that is provided by our dedicated teachers and staff. The California Department of Education will also formally recognize and celebrate Providencia Elementary at a very special ceremony on Friday, May 30th. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the teachers, classified staff members, and families for their unwavering support and commitment to our students' success. Your efforts have made this honor possible, and we congratulate each and every one of you. Now, I would like to invite Principal Celeste to the podium to share a few words, and following that, we will enjoy a special presentation from Providencia's Positivity Choir, led by their selected Teacher of the Year, Candace Juarez. Come on up, Principal.
All right, good evening, covering president, board members, Superintendent Paramo, cabinet, and community. It is with immense Panther pride and heartfelt gratitude that I stand here before you today to celebrate this truly remarkable achievement. This honor is a reflection of a passionate and tireless staff. We're tired, right, staff? But we're passionate, and we prioritize academic excellence intervention in areas of language arts and the biggest growth we've seen, 8% growth in math. This honor is also our partnership with our parents and our families who bring their children every single day, and they are part of creating a very nurturing and very safe school environment where kids are thriving. And lastly, the hard work of our scholars, especially our English learners and neurodiverse students who overcome odds. Students, you are the heart of our school. Your curiosity, your grit, and creativity inspires all of us. Being named California Distinguished School is not the end of this journey. It's a milestone, and that reminds us that we can achieve so much through collaboration and with purpose. And I cannot wait to continue to build on this momentum and strive for even greater achievements. We are so honored and so proud, and thank you for your continued support. And it's also, oh, thank you. It is with great joy that I introduce our Providencia 3rd through 5th grade positivity choir, led by our amazing and talented 3rd grade teacher of the year, Ms. Candice Suarez, and of course the wonderful support of our Providencia parents. Thank you. We invite you to come so you can see it.
I'll wait till they get in place.
One day, so one day be famous, would say. One, two, three.
Wait, what flavor?
Cherry and the grape. I'm sorry. I'll bring you one next time.
Good work, everybody.
It is.
All right, let's hear it one more time for our kiddos, everyone. You don't have to leave. You can sit through all the presentations. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful, wonderful performance. Made my day. Yeah, that is. Well, we'll wait. Is that?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Congratulations.
Again, one more time, I do want to thank our Miss Carolyn Celeste. You did get the flowers, right? Thank you. Again, this is a big honor, this 2025 California Distinguished School. Dr. Promo, I mean, tell us a little more about what a great honor this is.
Sure. What I would say is that in order to receive this kind of honor, it really takes a community effort. So when a school or a district is recognized in this way, what it's really saying is that the community has come together entirely, classified staff, certificated staff, the principal, parents, to create the atmosphere, to create the environment in order to be recognized. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that Kenlyn has been an amazing principal for us in Burbank. She really does have the heart for this school and the community, and that is really evident by the audience that came today, and I couldn't be more proud.
Thank you very much. Next, we have 8B, recognition of the 2025 Burbank Unified School District Teacher of the Year. Dr. Rachenko? Teacher of the Year. Teachers of the Year.
Teachers of the Year.
Yes, teachers.
Okay.
Sorry.
Good evening, President Dr. Agakanian, members of the board, colleagues, community. I'm here tonight with great excitement to speak about our outstanding 2025 Burbank Unified School District Teachers of the Year. In 1972, California began recognizing outstanding teachers to provide an opportunity for fostering educator excellence and to honor the teaching profession. The district would like to recognize the Burbank Unified 2025 Site Teachers of the Year, and they are Jessica Bocher, Disney, Debbie Riggs, Edison, Rebecca Berg, Emerson, Mary Edmondson, Bret Hart, Marla German, Thomas Jefferson. Catherine Strawn, William McKinley. Celia Green, Joaquin Miller. Candace Juarez, Providencia. Rhonda Wright, Theodore Roosevelt. Amy Sheldon, Robert Louis Stevenson. Nancy Fitzgerald, George Washington. Lisa Rowley, Luther Burbank. Will Warren, Dolores Huerta. Donna Smith, John Muir. Tracy Colazos, Burbank High School. Kara Clark, John Burroughs High School. Jamie Reeves, Monterey High School. And Pascal Nittis from Educational Services. This year, the Teacher of the Year District Selection Committee reviewed all of the nominations from the school sites, and after careful deliberation, the District Selection Committee chose one individual to represent Burbank Unified School District as the 2025 District Teacher of the Year. This year's recipient can be described as a teacher who is self-reflective, knowledgeable, collaborative, caring, and committed to the success of not just the students in her classroom, but all of the students she interacts with all day, every day. Her site's nominating committee shared, she consistently exhibits devotion to the education and well-being of her students and promotes the same among her colleagues. She does this through thoughtful development of her curriculum and that she supplements with extensive opportunities for her students to have meaningful experiences outside the classroom. I'm pleased to announce and would like to invite to the podium Ms. Kara Clark, a teacher at John Burroughs High School, as the 2025 Teacher of the Year. Ms. Clark, thank you for all your hard work, advocacy, and dedication that you have for our Burbank Unified students. We appreciate all your time and effort and dedication in educating the students in BUSD, and I invite you to share a few words.
Woo, okay. Good evening, President, board members, administration, distinguished guests, faculty, friends, and family. Sorry, I'm a crier. I will admit I'm a bit nervous standing up here today, which is so fitting this week as my students are doing their class presentations and feeling similar nerves. My encouragement to them is the reason you're nervous is because this means something to you. And likewise, as I stand here nervous because this means so much to me. It is with a humble spirit and immense gratitude that I stand here today to accept this award. It is with respect and admiration that I would like to recognize the incredible teachers that work in this district and those who have stood beside me in this journey, supported me, and mostly inspired me. I would like to specifically thank Ms. Deborah Madrigal for taking a chance and hiring me to the JBHS photography teacher position back when I started. I would like to thank Mr. Matt Chambers for seeing the leadership skills I possess and entrusting the yearbook class to me. And finally, I would like to thank my principal, Mr. Kenny Knoop, for his unwavering support every day. I am proud to accept this award as a first-generation college graduate, as a first-generation master's degree graduate, and a proud daughter of a Marine veteran. First and foremost, I would like to thank my mom and dad. Mom and dad. Who have supported me on every adventure, there's been many, I have taken in my life. Anytime I have a crazy idea, like when I was 10 and I told my mom I signed up to be on a game show and I need to ride to the audition in LA. Or when I decided I was going to make a career change and run my own photo business. Or when I decided to go back to school and get my teaching credential. Regardless, they have been there to support and encourage me. They listened to the plans, the essays, they encouraged me to never give up, to remember that something could always be worse, and that nothing is ever set in stone. Thank you for loving and supporting me through every high and low, for always being my biggest cheerleaders and enduring open house. I would like to thank my amazing husband, Tristan, for always pushing me to be the best version of myself and to stay positive in any situation. His unwavering support, even when I ask him if we can host a yearbook award ceremony for 70 people in a week, and he just smiles and says, sure. Or his listening ear when I share about student successes or some of the hard stories that come our way as teachers. His constant support and encouragement is appreciated. Thank you to my two sweet adult kids, Ethan and Allison, both proud JBHS graduates, for all of their love and support and putting up with their mom being a teacher at high school. As we know, this can be very embarrassing for a high school student. Over the past 8 years, I have had the privilege of teaching photography to high school students at John Burroughs. During this time, I have had approximately 1,890 students pass through my classroom doors. Each day passes in short 50 or so minute increments, which seem small, but over time, they create a family and a bond through the classes. These small sessions create safe spaces. They start conversations, they spark ideas, they create friendships, they impart skills, which continually build on one another and eventually create a safe community. It has been my pleasure to teach a subject that I am passionate about, but surprisingly enough, when I started my master's program and credentialing process, I had planned on being a physical education teacher. Because so many people said, and I quote, "You will not find a job teaching photography in high school. The arts are dying." Towards the end of my credentialing process, I was struggling to pass my final CSET test on body mechanics. To say I was frustrated was an understatement, as I had attempted the test 6 times. It felt impassable, some might say impossible. But little did I know, when I was feeling doomed, God was opening a door for me at John Burroughs. The high school photography teaching position I dreamed of was going to be shared with me through a friend. I would learn that my experience as a photographer would make me eligible as a CTE credentialed teacher in the arts, media, and entertainment pathway. I was graciously given this opportunity to pursue my dreams of teaching photography by Burbank Unified at John Burroughs. I am so grateful for the importance that BUSD places on including the arts in the district. The emphasis they make on arts integration and CTE pathways and teaching the whole child is so important and life-changing for so many students. The district has given me the opportunity to teach my passion, empower students to find their pathway, and this is a truly rewarding career that I am so grateful to do every day. It can be hard for me to share what happens in my classroom, so I thought I could share what some students have said on cards or in my yearbook to give a full picture of how this program has affected students. So I'm just going to share a couple short ones. Mrs. Clark, honestly, photo is the single class I look forward to every single day. You're an amazing and beautiful human being. I suppose this card is also a message of my appreciation towards you. Not only are you a great teacher, but you're someone that I feel safe with to talk about anything without fear of judgment. For years, I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, what I was good for. I was in such an emotional and unhealthy mental state. I was depressed, insecure, suicidal, and I felt like I had no purpose. I wasn't talented at most things, and nothing sparked my interest. Therapy didn't help either, but then I met you. I initially started photo because I hadn't had any interest in anything else. Photo has now become my passion and love and a helpful way to express myself, and I will always be grateful for you to that. You saved my life. Mrs. Clark, I cannot thank you enough for being an understanding and utterly caring. Every laugh we share means the world to me. I've never enjoyed a class. I'm so thankful. I feel so much peace in your classroom with the whole Photo 2 family. I'm so thankful for your sacrifices to make this class fun. I came to school with no knowledge of where I was, and you made it welcoming, and I adjusted so much faster. Thank you so much for everything you do. You're amazing, and you always brighten our day. Thanks for being a great teacher. Thanks for putting up with my pain in the ass, with my missing assignments. It's sad that I'm forced to be done with your class because I totally enjoy it. I know I haven't been the best student this school year due to slacking, showing up late with Starbucks, or being overall annoying. But regardless of that, you helped me pass your class and was always there to talk with me, and especially when I was having my own share of problems. I really appreciate you. As a teacher, you do more than what meets the eye. Although these little gifts do not compensate for what you do, I hope it provides you some comfort that your work is not going unnoticed. And one final one. Dear Ms. Clark, happy holidays. I'm so grateful that I've gotten to have you for the past 2 years. Aside from learning so much in photo, you've really created such a wonderful and safe class environment. I know we're a little rowdy, but Period 3 loves you. So excited to continue the work this year. I hope that every student who passes through my classroom feels that they are heard, respected, loved, important, creative, talented, and a unique creation in this world we live in. I hope they will remember the life lessons we learned together in photography, how to treat people with respect and to be positive no matter what life throws at you. The places you go and the people you meet will always remember you. As Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Clark, if you can have your family join us for a photo, and then I will ask all the teachers who were called also to.
Yes.
So can we have your family come up, and my colleagues will join you for a photo op? Then we'll ask all the teachers to join us as well. Thank you.
While you're coming up here, Teachers of the Year, we have certificates that have been sent to your sites, so you should receive those within the next day or so.
Thank you.
You have to have the flowers.
Oh, yes, perfect. Okay.
All right, everyone, over there, say cheese.
Cheese.
More? Oh, over there. All right, thank you. And can we have also the teachers who are also involved?
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God, well, I had never heard it in such a way before.
All right, we have a photographer teacher here. Concentrate, everyone. Hey, look over there.
I don't need to be
On 3. Cheese.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Cheese.
Can you stay there? I'm going to call up one more group for a picture.
For what?
Armand, what are we doing now? What are we doing? Char, what are we doing? Oh, okay. I think we have to take another one.
Providencia.
If I can have the Providencia teachers come up for a pic.
Prov teachers. I couldn't figure it out either.
We've moved on to the next one.
We can have our Prov teachers.
Come to the
I mean,
middle.
right? Like, it kind of checks out. I might be wrong, my queen.
Join us next door.
I'll get with my friend.
Oh, hey, girl.
That's how I go.
Hey, girl. I know, it was so fun. Thank God for you. I would have been stuck in that godforsaken seat.
Oh my gosh.
It was awkward. I really did want an encore, like legitimately. Good. Yes, you do. Two legs, fellow Dodger lover in the front. You can say Dodgers on 3.
All right, everyone on 3 say Dodgers. 1, 2, 3.
Dodgers.
How about we don't say Dodgers and we say Providencia?
Providencia,
Dr.
Dodgers.
Agakanian, come on.
It's hard to say Providencia.
2, 3.
Providencia.
Dodgers smiling.
It is a mouthful.
Just so you know, I said Panthers.
She said USC.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good to see you.
I owe you one.
I know. She was like, oh, I was like, don't forget your sign teacher here.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, that was exciting. And then, again, congratulations to all of our teachers. 8C, report on volunteer hour from Burbank Council PTA, Dr. Paramo.
Yes, I'd like to welcome our group up. Come on. It's Kirsten and friends.
Good evening, Dr. Agakanian and board members and administration and Dr. Paramo. Thank you for having us. My name is Catherine Moser. I'm second VP of membership for Burbank Council PTA. And these are some of my esteemed friends. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Kirsten Morris. I'm coming to be president next year at Burbank Council PTA. Yay. But our sweet Charlene couldn't be here, and so she misses you all and loves you and appreciates your work. I have to share that.
And this person who doesn't want to say for herself is Shauna Millman, our treasurer. Okay, let's see. Okay, so our historian unfortunately wasn't able to be here. Well, I say unfortunately, but it's because she's a busy band mom tonight. So not only does she have passion for PTA, but for her band kids as well. So this is Dipali Patel, our historian's report. The total volunteer hours from Burbank PTA units and council for the 2024-25 school year has been reported to be 79,090 hours. According to the National Value of Volunteer Time report, the estimated value of volunteer time in California is $40.14 per hour. This would mean that BUSD has saved $3,174,672.60 because of the volunteer time of our collective school communities. We use this opportunity to celebrate the cumulative volunteer hours our Burbank school communities have donated to come together and work towards PTA's mission to positively impact the lives of all children and families. So, take a look at that.
Yeah.
Camera will catch it.
Oh, okay, sure.
Well, why don't we go for everyone? Let's go for another group photo. Let's go, everyone. Get it.
Now they move the camera. Now it's the other way. Good to see you. Only like 2 of these.
A lot of money, but it's also a lot of love. You can't put value on it, right? So.
Grab a piece of this check, you know?
No.
$14 and how much first? $40.
All right, everyone.
Nice.
Say PTA. 1, 2, 3.
PTA.
PTA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shot.
These are official.
You want the check?
Oh, this is mine now, thank you.
Thank you so much. Good to see you. Thanks so much.
Also, thank you all for joining the PTA who have, and those who have not, please join the PTA.
Wait. The website, and then also so you don't have to be a parent.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't have to be a parent. You can be a community member. Thanks for letting me give my little pitch, but I will just say that to be a member of the PTA is increasing a voice for every single child in our community. So we would love to have you join at burbankcouncilpta.org. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to item 9, reports from the board and staff. I believe we have, Nicole, are you here? Yes, with the BTA. Hi, how are you? Welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while.
Good evening, President Agakanian, the members of the Board of Ed, Superintendent Paramo, and all our district and staff. My name is Nicole Jabecki. I am the Burbank Teachers Association president, and I am a teacher at Dolores Huerta. I have been in this district 18 years, worked at Burbank High, Jefferson, Edison, Washington, Miller, and now I'm at Dolores Huerta. I wanted to come here to thank all of the people here of the district. It's been a great time working with you these past 2 years. I am a person who brings kindness, and I am trying to have really good relationships with our district and solve anything that needs to be done with making our schools better, more leadership, and just ways to support our members with all that we face each day. I've really enjoyed my 2 years. I think you all know when you're in a leadership position, it is a big responsibility. There is a lot of pressure, and I always try to do my best to get back to members on time. I felt like I fought for them in the best way that I could, and I really enjoyed my relationships with you guys, and I also tried to reach out to our Burbank community to build our relationships with our community because, we do need our community to support our schools, and I'm so glad that we had the Teacher of the Year, Kara Clark, and all of our teachers at all of our schools. I actually think a lot of our members could be that Teacher of the Year. That's how hard that they work each and every day, and we go beyond all that we can do, and we get home just enough time to catch our breath and do it again the next day. So my leadership role as BTA president has been awesome. As you know, there will be a new leadership come June. I just kind of needed a break because I think you know what kind of emails you're getting each day, all the time, and it never goes away. But I always live for my Saturday and Sunday to have a break and feel normal like everybody else does. And so I will be the vice president for the Burbank Teachers Association, and I will be supporting our new president, Sarah Swartz, in her first year, which is always the most difficult year. And I just want to say that I've really enjoyed our partnership of working together. I did have recent conversations with Sarah Rudachenko, head of HR. I think you have probably heard different reports from elementary to secondary that there are times when students can kind of escalate. And I know service training will be coming in the fall, and we have in October and in April. Anything you guys can do to guide us to help with de-escalation when students are pushing our buttons, whether it's elementary or secondary, just how to handle that appropriately, because I think they're harder. I think they're way harder than they were 20 years ago. So any training you can offer, maybe it's 20 minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes, I think that will help everybody. Like instead of, hey, Nicole, don't say that, let's do this instead. I think we all could use a little refresher. I want to thank the BUSD for having a special ed committee. I think, there's been different things with special ed that are very difficult for our members. It's a lot of work. And I know we've talked with different aides, whether it's agency aides or BUSD, just making sure they're coming back from their breaks on time and, staying off their phones just to support us all the time. And I've talked a lot about mentoring our assistant principals and principals. I think even myself, like I want to learn all the time. I want to be a better president. I want to be a better teacher. And as long as BUSD can give us those tools, I think that's awesome. I think this is a great school district. I think we are fighting very hard to improve all of our scores in language arts and math. I think we are definitely trying to support our English language learners. I love our English language learners. They want to be successful. And I've always tried to be really sweet to them. And I had a lot of translators in my 8th grade PE class, and that's been great. And I feel like I've built a good relationship with them. As Dr. Armand Argikanian has said, he's come to America with, the English, was limited. And I think that's hard for our students. And so I just really embrace the type of students that we have. I think we all know that we need more affordable housing here in Burbank. And I'm sure they just need to build more, but we need developers to come in to do that. And especially have things that are available to people with families, not just someone who's 25 going to work at Disney or Warner Brothers. I think that would be helpful. And so I know that my job, once I leave the presidency, I will try to continue to build relationships with our community, talk to our union partners, talk to people that have kind of run this town for a long time. And I think building those bridges with them is only going to help us in the long end. And I appreciate all of your work that you do each day. And I'm sure you get way more emails than me. Like me, I think 35 is a lot, but I'm sure you probably have 150. And so I just appreciate everything HR has done. I've been very happy with Connie Trimble, Karen Roble, Corio Lopez, and I've gotten to know Leticia a little bit. And I know that, there are improvements for all of us, not only leadership-wise, but my members. I need my members to make sure they're doing the right thing all the time and not get where they handle a situation inappropriately because their buttons have been pushed. So any more training that you guys can do over the next couple years, I think that would be great. I think we all have to learn. We have to get better. And I think you're all doing a good job. I think we just got to figure out how can we get more families to come to Burbank to support our schools where we're not losing our programs. I think, our programs are so very important, but those programs cost money, and we only get so much state or money from the state. And I think it's important that our community knows that we cannot just wait for Sacramento to help us. Okay, the California teachers can go to Sacramento. I can have good relationships with Carolyn Benvajar and Nick Schultz to fight for funding. But again, we're the 5th largest economy in the world, maybe number 4 now, and they just have to give a little more money to our kids. And obviously, with the new administration, definitely worried about Title I and Head Start and our special ed. Okay, we all know special ed is expensive and we need to fund it more. Those kids deserve all the funding that they can get. So I just wanted to thank you for your time as Board of Ed members, as superintendent, as district staff. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I hope you got to see my personality a little bit. Like, I want everyone to enjoy what I'm doing, and if they're not enjoying what I'm doing, then I want to be better. So I just want to thank you for your partnership. So thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. I had to give you a standing ovation for all the hard work. People don't realize, besides just being a teacher, all the hard work she has to do representing the unions, being the voice in the community. Thank you for all you've done, but more important, also thank you for your friendship. So hopefully we'll continue having our meetings and the coffees at the Starbucks. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have, I saw Laura Flossie from BASA earlier. Is she here? She left? All right. Yeah. Thank you. All right, 9B, reports from the superintendent. Dr. Paramo.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Nicole, honestly, I'm going to miss you in this role. You are an amazing partner, and I want to restate what you said. You have brought so much kindness to this role. It's just unbelievable. And I think you are tough, and I think you fight for the teachers, and I admire that about you. And from my perspective, that is all true. But I also will say that you show your heart and you show what's important to you. It's very evident to the district team. It's very evident to the board. And you are an amazing partner. But I will tell you, you have earned some rest. And if that's what you need, then I totally support it. And I will look forward to, when you're rested, making a decision to come back and to serve. Not that you're not going to serve as vice president, but you do a good job. And I appreciate it. And I'm just really grateful to have you as a partner. I'd like to relinquish the rest of my time to Dr. Richenko.
This is the best part of my job. All right, good evening, Dr. Agakanian, Board President, board members, Dr. Paramo, colleagues, and community. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce Mr. Adam DeVore as the new Assistant Principal of Huerta Middle School. Mr. DeVore brings over 2 decades of dedicated service in public education with a rich background as both a teacher and as an administrator. He began his career in the Los Angeles Unified School District and went on to serve the Pasadena Unified School District, where he made a lasting impact as a special education teacher, adapted PE teacher, and special education coordinator. His leadership journey continued with the Los Angeles County Office of Education, where he supported juvenile court schools, demonstrating his commitment to serving all students, especially those in the most vulnerable settings. Most recently, Mr. DeVore served as assistant principal at Paramount High School's West Campus, where he led school-wide initiatives to strengthen attendance, enhance behavior systems, and improve special education services. His work is grounded in a deep commitment to equity, inclusive practices, and ensuring that every student has the opportunity to thrive. Mr. DeVore holds a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, a Master's in Administration from Cal State University Northridge, where he also earned his Administrative Services credential. He holds a Master's of Arts in Education from Pepperdine University. Outside of his professional life, Mr. DeVore is a proud husband and father of 2. He enjoys watching sports, hiking, bicycling, and spending quality time with his family. Please join me in welcoming Mr. DeVore to Huerta Middle School and to our district leadership team.
So Board President Armand Ajakanian, Vice President Abby Ponser Kamkar, esteemed members of the board, Dr. Paramo, members of the executive cabinet, and the Burbank community. I'm honored and humbled by the opportunity to serve as assistant principal at Dolores Huerta Middle School. It is with great enthusiasm that I begin this new chapter in my career. With a long-standing commitment to public education, I bring a deep passion for fostering school environments where all students feel supported, challenged, and inspired to reach their full potential. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Board of Education, Executive Cabinet, Dr. Paramo, and the leadership team at Dolores Huerta Middle School for entrusting me with this responsibility. I am truly excited to join a school with such a strong sense of purpose and community. I look forward to working closely with the students, staff, and the families. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Paramo and Dr. Richenko. Next, we have a request to address the board. So an individual or group representative present this evening may address the Board of Education of any agenda items or any subject within the jurisdiction of the school board by completing a white request card and turning it to Ms. Quintero. Speakers are requested to state their name prior to the speaking to the board. No more than 5 minutes may be allowed to each speaker except by unanimous consent of the Board of Education. The superintendent may refer to the matter to the proper department to review. The district is providing alternative to in-person attendance for viewing and participating. Do we have any online? We don't. All right, thank you. So our first card is from Eric Hawk from a Burbank Community Band. Eric, come on down.
Oh, okay. Hey. Oh, if you make it out to Chicago, Optimo, really recommend that. They're a wonderful hat maker. Well, hey, and good evening to the members of the Burbank School Board, wonderful district staff, as well as others who've taken time out of their evening to participate in this meeting. My name, for the record, is Eric Hawk. I'm the current Board of Directors President for the Burbank Community Band. I won't use up all 5 minutes. It's been a very long evening, but a wonderful evening so far for y'all. Two things I wanted to speak about today. First, those of you who were able to attend our April 12th Sound of Burbank 85th Anniversary Concert saw a really wonderful show. Had a great MC of Fritz Coleman and some terrific music from talented musicians. Also, it was a terrific venue to be on the main stage of Burbank High School, and really appreciated working with the school district to have such a wonderful space to celebrate our very big 85th anniversary and share some music with the Burbank community. So thank you for that. Next, I'd like to share that the Burbank Community Band will be having its final shows of the 2024-2025 season later this month. The longest running series of concerts that the Burbank Community Band provides for the city of Burbank are those civic events that are on Veterans Day and now upcoming Memorial Day. So on Monday, May the 26th, the band will be at McCambridge Park ahead of the city's Memorial Day ceremony. We'll be starting at 10:15. We'll be performing music honoring those who have served this country, honoring the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, as well as the 250th anniversary of the creation of the United States Army. It'll be a wonderful show, again starting at 10:15, ending with a dramatic flyover right before the city ceremony. If you cannot make it to the Memorial Day performance at McCambridge Park, the band will be having a special performance the Friday preceding that. Not this Friday, but the Friday after. I do have one more rehearsal time. Good. And that's going to be at the Jocelyn Adult Center at 1301 West Olive Street. And we're going to have, again, talented musicians, wonderful music. And that's going to be at 10:30 a.m. on Friday, May the 23rd. Once again, those are our final performances for this season. Friday, May the 23rd at Jocelyn Adult Center, 1301 West Olive Avenue, and at 10:30 on Monday, Memorial Day, May the 26th at McCambridge Park ahead of the city's Memorial Day ceremony. So with that, that's my news. I'm going to hand this to the recording secretary, these for everyone on the dais, and I thank you very much always. Have a very nice evening.
Thank you. The last card is Jacob Flores.
All right, good evening, President Agakanian, Superintendent Paramo, board members, and district staff. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Jacob Flores, and I've been a school counselor at Burbank High since 2021. I also had the honor of helping lead our recent WASC accreditation process, which I'm ecstatic to report resulted in a 6-year term for BHS. Shout out to Tracy Grogan Collasos, our Spanish and French teacher who served as one of our WASC group leaders and is being recognized tonight as BHS's Teacher of the Year. And today is also her birthday. So I'm going to mess this up, but I believe it's joyeux anniversaire and feliz cumpleaños to our beloved Tracy. The accreditation experience affirmed a belief I hold deeply, that we as schools are at our best when we're willing to hold a mirror up to ourselves, not to punish, but to reflect and to grow. The Hanover Research Report on our student care centers on Agenda Item 11A gives us such a mirror, and I want to thank the district for commissioning it. It's not always easy to take a hard look at a program that was born out of good intentions, but reflection is the beginning of accountability. As the report outlines, and as those of us on campus have experienced, there is a significant misalignment between Family Service Agency's current structure and the real-time needs of a comprehensive high school. Delayed referrals, lack of transparency, and inconsistent communication aren't just operational issues, they're access barriers for students in need. But what I want to focus on tonight is the growing pressure placed on our classified staff. Every week, our senior secretaries are asked to coordinate last-minute therapy room changes in spaces already reserved for critical meetings like IEPs, SSTs, and 504s. These meetings require tight logistics, often across multiple departments, and the constant reshuffling is exhausting. Our site teams are doing the best they can, but they're being asked to stretch beyond what's reasonable, without the systems or staffing to support it. I wish we could pilot some out-of-the-box solutions, like using cubicle-style office dividers to create private one-on-one counseling spaces within the care center itself. Even that could help provide immediate relief. But now for some personal news. This fall, I'll be transitioning as a counselor to Luther Burbank Middle School, a campus I once attended as a student. With both high schools moving from 6 to 5 counselors and Luther going from 3 to 2, the timing aligned with the retirement of 2 veteran counselors. This is an opportunity that feels right in this moment, and returning to Luther as staff just feels very full circle for me. These staffing reductions reflect the broader financial constraints we're facing as a district, which is why this conversation about our mental health partnerships is so important. Every dollar counts. If we had the budget flexibility, I imagine many of us would gladly invest in expanding services, but we're not there right now. I understand that these cuts aren't being made because counseling isn't valued. They're being made because we are frankly in that desperate of a situation. If an opportunity presented itself where we had the funding to bring back 6 counselors at the high school level, I'd reapply for BHS in a heartbeat. But unless something changes at the state level with how we're funded, or unless we seriously consider something like a parcel tax, this is our current reality. So this board meeting and the response to the Hanover report matters deeply and must be grounded in clarity, purpose, and fact. We owe that to our students, staff, and community who trust us to use resources wisely. As we think about evolving the care center model, I hope we treat this as a design year. That doesn't mean rushing to conclusions, but it does mean taking the time to get it right. Personally, I'd love to see our care center space be used as a yoga room that counts towards both PE and fine art credit while also supporting mental health. That's like 3 counselor gold mines that you pack into one. But that's just one idea from one very specific high school counselor lens, and this kind of conversation needs all perspectives at the table. Whether we move forward with expanded partnerships, clearer tracking systems, or reimagined use of space, the next version of school-based mental health support should be built with input from multiple stakeholders. And if we are heading into a design year, I'd recommend considering designating someone with grant writing expertise to pursue funding for school-based mental health. At some point in the future, I'd love to come back here to geek out about potential parcel tax ideas that could help fund staffing, wages, and expanded services across our district. Because whether we're talking about school-based mental health, classroom ratios, competitive wages for classified staff, or even childcare options, we're going to reach a point where keeping the ship afloat won't be enough. But that's not tonight's focus. Tonight is about what we can do with what we have and how we ensure that the decisions made in response to the Hanover report are thoughtful and purposeful. At BHS, we finally implemented a QR code system to track care center visits and prevent misuse for the first time this school year, and that has brought relief. But a site like JBHS is still navigating those same misuse inefficiencies right now. We're all working in our own fragmented systems, and our high schools in particular need immediate relief while we figure out the bigger redesign. Thank you for my time.
Thank you, and that was the last card. All right, next we have, where are we? Sorry. Superintendent's comments, yes. Dr. Parama, sorry.
Thank you, sir. Eric, it's always a pleasure, and the flyers look amazing, and we will circulate those. Jocelyn Center sounds appealing at 10:30. You may find me there, and I appreciate all you do for our community. Jacob, as always, I'm glad that you came tonight. It's always important that we get perspective from people that are boots on the ground. I'm not going to say a lot about the Hanover presentation, only because it's a board item. and I'm sure we'll have plenty of discussion once the presentation is done.
All right. Board comments. Dr. Weisberg.
Thank you. Sorry, I have end of the year voice. Thank you, Eric. You're the best. You're the bee's proverbial knees. I'm going to do my best to get there. I'm not done teaching that week, but I'm going to try. But thank you for always sharing the information. We'll make sure to share it too. And to Mr. Flores, thank you. Similar to Dr. Promo, we're about to have a big, lengthy conversation about this, but I think it's important that I really appreciated the way you framed it as our goal, I think, as a board, is to do the best possible job for our students. And so when we take a look at any aspect of the district, whether it's student mental health, academics, whatever it is, we have to ask hard questions and ask ourselves, is what was good for our students 5 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 months ago, what's the most effective thing for them now? And I think this is the beginning of a longer conversation, and I appreciate that that was the way that you framed it, because I think that's very much the intention, I can only speak for myself, that I have, which is examining the services we provide our kiddos and figuring out if we need to deepen, improve, alter, or stay the same with those services. So thank you for always taking time out of a busy day, and I look forward to continued conversations.
Thank you. Board Member Connor.
Well, Nicole, I want to say it's just been so great getting to know you this year, my first year here, and I've just really admired the way you've gone and basically built the relationship and the connections, because you've got not just us that you're coming to, you've got your constituents, your people, and then you've also got like CTA, so that connection, those relationships that you've, maneuver and put together, I'm grateful for. So, but yeah, you're just coming off a bargaining year, so I would definitely think you need some rest. So, but you will still be here, and we will still be seeing you, so I appreciate that. And Mr. DeVore, welcome to BUSD. It sounds like you've just done so much and working with students who are definitely, sometimes somewhat marginalized, or on the fringe. So we're really lucky to have you in here. And then Mr. Hawk, you've got a busy weekend, boy, that weekend. You got Friday, Saturday. I was like, holy mackerel. So yeah, definitely want to get over there and see you guys. Just wanted to say to all the, to Mr. Flores, that I like one of the things he said after with the WASC and such, with that idea of holding a mirror up to ourselves, that idea of always reflecting. And sometimes it's through, those types of things. But just in general, I think as teachers, I know I do that a lot, and we see that with our grades. I look at, even on come on, we're teachers. We all look at state test scores when they come in. Did they come in? Let me see how we did. So, it is a mirror to ourselves, and I think that is super, super helpful. To all the teachers of the year, just wanted to congratulate you all. To Kara Clark, congratulations. Thank you, PTA Council and Providencia. Like Dr. Promo said, that's a huge achievement, having done it back in Glendale, and people don't understand how much work you go through with that. And again, I know people go, oh, it's the faculty, it's everybody. It's everybody. It's the kids, it's the yard duties, it's the custodians, it's everybody that comes together. And so it's a huge accomplishment. So congratulations. I really congratulate you on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Clerk Tabbitt.
This was such a fun meeting so far. Thank you. Nicole, thank you for your years of service to, because it wasn't just as president. You've been around for a while in that leadership position, and it's appreciated. And it has been fun to get to know you. So thank you, and we can still meet up. There's lots of things to talk about. And besides, sometimes we all just need to sit down, right, and have a cup of tea or something and just talk about what's going through our head. Welcome to our new assistant principal, if you're still here. Thank you and welcome. It just tickles me when we get outside folks who want to come to Burbank to work. I think that's a testament to our platinum standard here in Burbank. That's a joke from Tuesday, but we do think that Burbank is a great place to be, and we're so happy that you wanted to come here. Thank you. Looking forward to getting to know you. There's Mr. Flores, I don't see you, but thank you for your words and your thoughts. It's appreciated. It's always good to hear from someone in the trenches, as we like to say, that's working day to day with our students. And I'm looking forward to the Hanover research information that we're going to hear tonight, so won't say too much more about that. And congratulations to all of our Teachers of the Years, and especially Kara Clark. I've gotten to know Kara this year a little better than I did before, and boy, we hit that nail on the head. She's amazing. So thank you for that. And PTA, thank you so much. So many, if you really stop and take a look about what our PTAs do week in and week out at our schools, I'm surprised it was only 79,000 hours. No, because so much happens, that if I were a principal, I'd be so thankful for the amount of things that you do for our students and our teachers and supporting our staff, et cetera. So it's greatly appreciated. Thank you. I think Mr. Hawk, I always want to say I'm so glad that there's an opportunity for our community to go and hear live music. I grew up playing an instrument and playing in band and concert bands, and it was, the best part is getting to perform for your community, right? And so thank you for that, for the time involved, and I hope to get to one soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Vice President Ponser-Kamkar, please.
Thank you, Dr. Agakanian. So I'll just go from the top. To our PTSA, welcome, Kirsten. We're excited to work with you. 80,000, almost 80,000 hours is a lot of hours. It's events at schools, it's book fairs, it's time in the classroom, it's time setting up, it's time taken down, it's meetings, it's a lot, right? And I'm so thankful for everything that Burbank Council PTA does for us and all of our unit PTAs do. Mr. Becky, I want you to know that I give you a lot of credit for the passage of our bond. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that. Because working with you on the facilities bond and the committee and the campaign was truly remarkable, the way you were able to pull in teacher volunteers to come in on days that they were off to knock doors and make calls and do texts and all of that. We just got our bond rating back and it looks good. So now we're going to go spend that money, right? And build some roofs this summer. And so when you see all that construction happening, you only have yourself to thank. But I know you do a lot behind the scenes. And it's not just coming to these meetings, it's meeting with individual teachers at sites and working with district staff. And so thank you for all you do. It's been lovely to get to know you, and I know this is not anywhere near the end for us and for you. Mr. DeVore, welcome to Burbank. Huerta is a really special school. I really always enjoy visiting it. I think you'll really enjoy working with Principal Hatch. It's a really great place, and we're happy to have you. And if you ever need anything, let us know. But you've got great leaders all the way on up before you have to bother with us. So you'll be in good hands. Mr. Hawk, thank you as always for bringing the Burbank Community Band events to our attention. It's a really delightful time, so I would encourage all to attend. And then Mr. Flores, I was just struck by Jacob Flores always comes and advocates for his fellow staff members. That's what we heard last time he was here as well. And so, I love, thank you for bringing ideas of, possible solutions. We always appreciate that, even though we are willing to take hard feedback when it happens. It's always good to have ideas for other ways to solve problems. but just for advocating on behalf of your team, right? I don't know that we would have heard the piece about the senior secretaries if he hadn't brought it to us, and that's important because it's an additional piece of information. But just congrats on WASC accreditation. That's a huge deal, and your new role at Luther Burbank. And then lastly, the Providencia Distinguished School is a huge deal. It's a special little school. It's one that I always enjoy visiting, and Kenelyn Celeste is an amazing principal. And this is her second year with us, and I think her second year as a principal, if I'm not mistaken. So she is a second-year principal getting a school to California Distinguished School, and that's unbelievable. She is a treasure for us to have in our district. And to all of our teachers of the year, and Kara Clark in particular. And I have to say to Senora Boucher, she probably has a first name. I'm not allowed to say it because she has been my children's teacher. To Jessica Boucher at Disney, congratulations. Knowing the two of those two teachers as a standard for all of our teachers of the year makes me very sure that they are all in good company. So congratulations to all of you, and I hope you get a little time to breathe this summer. So thanks.
Thank you very much. I will start with the PTSA. Thank you very much. Again, sometimes people ask me what the organization is about, and what they do. I think it's important for everyone to know, again, A, you don't have to be a parent to be a member of it, but also, B, if you enjoy going to meetings where you always get pastry and coffee and stuff, just go to PTSA, snacks. No, but seriously, I try to attend my our PTSA, which is MIR, and they do a lot of wonderful work. But also the parents get involved. Just give you an example. During the Armenian Genocide commemoration at MIR, that was the president of the PTSA of MIR who kind of put the whole thing together with the help of the PTSA. And hopefully we can show the picture later tonight, the group photo with all the kids. It's amazing. But anyways, I mean, these individuals are parents, but also they do a lot of work and meet on a regular basis. So if you're not a member, join them, support them. Every dollar counts. So, and of course, the volunteer, you can't put a price on that. There's a lot of love in that 3,100,000. And hopefully one day we invent a machine we can convert that into also actual dollars. No, I'm just kidding. But it's very important that people realize that so much work goes in there. So thank you for your support, and we look forward to your leadership in 2 weeks, right? Correct. Nicole, again, thank you very much. I said it earlier, but I think my colleague did say it, what your role was. But again, yes, you deserve some time off. I mean, I don't even know what Saturday, Sunday is now. Like, I'm always out there. It's not a good thing. We need to take a little time and spend time with our loved ones and families. So enjoy your weekends, but I'm sure we're going to see you soon again. But let's keep in touch, our regular, coffees and just conversations. Also, to our teachers of the year and Ms. Clark, congratulations. As you said it, Nicole, all of our teachers should be recognized for all their hard work. It's very difficult, especially nowadays with all the uncertainties going around. It's very difficult. Just dealing with simple things as, students who are fearing they might, their parents might get deported, and all the uncertainty they have to deal with. We're in very uncertain times, not only when it comes to budgets, but the future of education itself and what the cuts we're seeing out there. These are going to be very difficult to replace these positions that are being cut. I'm talking about what's happening with our country in the Department of Education. Student loans. I mean, a lot of students now don't want to go to college. What's the point if, there's no option for me to even get a lower rate, interest rate? And you have to remember, people always ask me, what do we do? We prepare our kids for higher education. It's part of what we do, right? It's part of what we do. But there is this dark cloud right now where even individuals who are graduating high school are really considering, do I want to go to higher ed, knowing, I might not be able to pay for my student loans. I can't take them out. I mean, it's just right now education is, I don't know how to say it. Every morning I wake up, turn on the news, and I hear something more insane every day. But I hope that, I think we will prevail because we have teachers like you and all the teachers that were recognized tonight, including Ms. Clark. I think you're going to fight back because education is the most powerful weapon in the world. To Providencia, again, congratulations. My colleague said it best, and Dr. Paramo, it's a big, big honor to receive this award. It's a lot of work. So again, congratulations. We love the choir. They were wonderful. We need more of those. We need to come back every time and sing, maybe we should do Beatlemania or something. I don't know. Mr. Flores, thank you very much. I don't know if you're here. By the way, I love the Sailor Moon shirt. So it's good to see you, Mr. Flores. And yes, we will get to the item. And then, what am I missing? Oh, so to Mr. DeVore, I believe you're here with your family, right? Hi. By the way, you don't have to sit through this whole thing. You guys can go home. I know millions of viewers are watching us. It's okay. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I have to bring that up every time. But yes, congratulations, and congratulations to your family, but also I'm certain, your family had to do a lot to do with you being here today and being very successful, and we wish you all the best, and we're here for you, as we always say. This board is the most accessible board you'll ever run into, and trust me, I've served on other boards. You can always call us, text us, we love to communicate, so please, if you ever need anything, feel free, we'll be there for you. And last but not least, Mr. Hawk, again, it's always a pleasure to see you. Sorry I missed the meeting. I know you had a joint meeting with the Philharmonic at the Burbank Music Center. So I hope that's going to come into a good fruition, into a good partnership, So, but again, it's always a delight to see you. And, we need more music. So more the better, and thank you for being here tonight. With that said, we're going to go next to the item.
Dr. Agakani?
Yes.
I'm sorry, can I just say a couple words?
Yes, Dr. Promo.
Mr. DeVore, I am so looking forward to getting to meet you and to working with you. It's a great school. My son Ethan graduated from that school. It's a special place, and I think you're going to love it, and then you're going to love the kids. You got a great principal there. And I will tell you, I'm not trying to embarrass them, but Dr. Richenko, Dr. Macias, we're so excited to be able to hire you on, and they were really impressed with your performance in the interview. So I am really proud to have you on board and look forward to working with you.
All right. You can go now. Thank you. Enjoy your evening. Be free. All right, 11, reports to the board, report on student care centers, executive summaries from Hanover Research. Dr. Anders. There you are.
Peter, tell me if I'm catching all the board members up on top. Yeah.
I want to introduce Hanover Research and specifically Tiffany Davis, who we've worked with from the Hanover Research team. Hanover specializes in research and analysis support for K-12 districts, higher education. We utilize them annually for our school satisfaction survey to provide unbiased, impartial feedback on the climate in our schools. So when it came time to investigate and give us perspective on our student care centers at our high schools, we relied on a research team that we knew was reliable and gave good data. And so with that, I want to introduce Tiffany. And I'm not sure if she's joined with anybody on her team, but they're going to present tonight on information and evaluation of the student care centers at our high schools. Just to preface a tiny bit as well, They used a pretty extensive methodology to look at all kinds of data. We also asked them to do a survey or kind of a vendor scan in our area just to get a little perspective of what the landscape looks like for other districts and for providing these types of mental health services in K-12 schools. But they'll also dig into detail about their findings and recommendations as well. So with that, I turn it over to Tiffany Davis.
It's nice to see you all this evening. Like Robin said, I'm Tiffany Davis, and I serve as content director for Burbank. I'm happy to join you all. I've worked closely with John and Robin over the past couple of years. And over this past year, we looked specifically at the student care center.
Hold on just a second, Tiffany. We're working on audio in the boardroom. Got it.
Thank you.
Say something now, please.
Can you hear me?
Just 1 second. And that while we're doing that, Tiffany, logistically, are you able to share the presentation from your screen? Is that how you intend for the slides? Okay, thank you.
You might have to speak up a little bit.
That's fine. I can turn on my teacher voice. Do you all see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, great. Can you hear me okay?
No.
I'll try to be as loud as I can be. So we did a full year impact evaluation of the Student Care Center. And as Robin said, we used triangulation of methodologies. So we first began the evaluation by conducting a benchmarking report of peer and aspirant districts. We conducted a Student Care Center survey where we surveyed staff, parents, and students. We then also included an open-ended analysis. And then we also conducted Student Care Center focus groups with staff and from both Burbank and FSA. We conducted student in-depth interviews and a vendor scan.
Can people at home hear this?
So we have a few recommendations, but I'll circle back to those. First, kind of go over our findings at a high level, and then anytime you all have a question or thought.
Hold on 1 second.
Tiffany, hold on 1 second. Sorry.
Okay.
Ask her to speak again.
Sorry.
Tiffany, can you say test?
Can you speak again, Tiffany?
Test.
There.
Yay!
We can hear you really well now.
Okay, great. Wonderful. So just circling back really quickly, I just said, in case you didn't hear, that the triangulation of methodologies, beginning with the benchmarking report of peer and aspirant districts. We conducted a survey of staff, students, and parents. We also included an open-ended analysis. We also held focus groups with staff from both FSA and Burbank. We conducted student in-depth interviews, and then we wrapped it all up with a vendor scan, as Robin had mentioned before. So we do develop recommendations, and we'll circle back to these at the end. I will review kind of the findings of the various studies in a synthesized review, kind of high level, and then we can stop for any questions or comments or thoughts. So our key finding areas, we were looking at program awareness and accessibility. We're looking at program impact, and then also perceptions of the Student Care Center. So We're going to begin by kind of quickly reviewing the benchmarking report and also the vendor scan. So our key findings for the benchmark report was that although few peer districts have established dedicated student mental health centers, some are implementing various forms of school-based mental health support. Most school-based mental health service providers require students to fill out referral or intake forms prior to accessing services. While some peer districts permit walk-in services for mental health support, they generally encourage students to make appointments. And most districts house student health services within school-based health centers. So here's a quick review of the various districts that we benchmarked against. So looking at our peer districts, we have Ann Arbor, Broken Arrow School District, Chatham County Schools, and then Tiger Tualatin School District. And then we also have aspirant districts, which means that they have some characteristics aligned with Burbank, but not all of those characteristics. But you can see the various districts, which services they offer within their mental health services to their students. We also conducted a vendor scan, like I had mentioned a few minutes ago, and we compiled a list of 4 different vendors. We have Daybreak Health based out of San Francisco, Hazel Health, STARS Behavioral Health Group out of Los Angeles, and then Thrive Alliance Group, which is nationwide. And you can see the various programs they offer, the services offered, their delivery model, and then the relationships with the districts. But do keep in mind that this information is based on what is publicly available through research. So in terms of overall awareness, overall responses suggest that there's low familiarity with the school-provided mental health and wellness services and the student care center at the school. Staff indicate their primary source of knowledge about the student care center comes from other school staff or school communications, while students indicate other students are their primary source of knowledge. Both staff and students interview responses from the focus groups and the in-depth interviews indicate that communication between the student care center and the rest of the school needs improvement. Students report initially hearing about the student care center from other students, but also as a way to skip class. Staff members highlight miscommunication between the student care center and FSA staff and school personnel. And then parents report just a general lack of information about that student care center. Some areas of strength. Staff and education partners recognize that the core vision of the Student Care Center as providing flexible drop-in counseling services to support students, especially those in crisis. And students highlight the caring and supportive approach of the staff in their care for respecting students' boundaries and needs. They indicate that the center fulfills its core vision in providing a comfortable and supportive atmosphere for students. It helps them relax and feel at ease in a non-academic environment, but also supports them during mental health crises. Some areas of improvement around awareness and accessibility. Nearly all students and many staff members raise concerns about SCC's operational hours and wait times. Many students find the current hours are restrictive and not aligned with their academic schedules. And then both staff and students note that the limited hours during the school day often force students to choose between missing their academic classes or seeking mental health support. Some students also raise concerns about certain practices that have compromised their privacy. So there were issues kind of around this communication between the SCC, school counselors, and the student's family, as well as physical privacy within the student care center. Where it was noted that sometimes things can be overheard, just kind of the layout and the design of the space. In terms of integration and communication, nearly all focus group participants recognize that FSA and Burbank staff operate within fundamentally different paradigms for how best to care for students, which can lead to disagreements with how the Student Care Center currently operates. Staff also highlight the general miscommunication between the school and the Student Care Center staff, as well as a lack of integration of the Student Care Center into school functions and other mental health resources. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions about anything?
Board Member Kano.
I had two questions. The first one, just on the peer districts. When they're peer districts, are we peers because we have similar programs or similar, like SES, the socioeconomic levels?
Similar demographics, similar populations, things like that.
Okay. And then can you just kind of clarify for me in what you talked about the areas of improvement? You said there was a, different quote unquote paradigms. Just can you expand on that a little bit?
So looking at how they aren't very integrated in terms of it kind of exists separately from Burbank. And you'll see that in some other areas as well, where it was noted by staff, Burbank staff, that they felt kind of outside of the services that the Student Care Center offered.
Thank you.
Did that clarify?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Dr. Weisberg.
I would say it's tough because a lot of the questions that I have are not about the actual gathering of the information, but wanting to have a conversation amongst district staff and board members about the findings. So I just wanted to say that I think that's a big part of what I'm hoping to get out of the conversation. Not to reduce Hanover's role by any means, but a lot of the questions I have, I think, aren't about the sort of process or protocols, but rather about, what we saw in the findings as they relate to the kind of mental health supports we're providing our students, if that makes sense.
Yes, Vice President. Collins.
Absolutely.
Did you find in your benchmarking or in your benchmarking, were there any districts that basically did this all essentially in-house with full-time staff, or does everyone contract with a vendor to do this?
I would have to go back to check for sure. I know the majority of them did contract with vendors, but then they also had school psychologists employed from the district as well.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Any other question? Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, kind of the data that we present to you, we hope that it does spark those internal conversations. So that, we present the data and then you all can take it and really have those serious conversations to help kind of drive some of your decision, but make sure that it's, data driven. So when we look at program impact, one of the areas of strength was the therapeutic services provided. Students agree that the Student Care Center is effective in supporting them, particularly in how the staff engages and communicates with the students. They like how the Student Care Center offers guidance and additional resources from FSA without imposing decisions on students. Students highlight the calming and homey environment, which helps them relax and supports them during crisis. 56% of students reported seeking support at the Student Care Center for stress, and then 43% of students reported seeking support for mental health issues. Some staff do highlight the benefit of having a third party providing mental health support on campus, and they do perceive that students appreciate the confidentiality of being able to see a non-Burbank staff member. 70% of students indicate that the Student Care Center has a somewhat or very positive impact on their stress and anxiety. And then 65% of students indicate that they have a somewhat or positive impact on their overall well-being.
I have a quick clarifying question, Tiffany. For the survey results, was this students who had said they had gone to a care center, or this was the overall student population at the high schools?
It was the percentage of those who had gone to the Student Care Centers.
Okay.
Oh, so the 70% was the 70% of those students who had attended
Great,
the Student
thank you.
Care Center.
Thanks so much.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
So another area of strength was on student mental health impact. So most participants across studies support that the Student Care Center's mission to support students during mental health crisis. Students report a positive experience that helped them navigate their daily challenges, academic pressures, and complicated emotions that, a lot of students feel. A few students did explain how the Student Care Center has provided access to therapy for students whose families cannot or do not wish to discuss mental health. So it gives them an avenue. In terms of the new appointment system that was just implemented this past year, staff and students perceive that the new appointment system has been effective in reducing the misuse by students who would previously use the student care center as a way to skip class intentionally. And that was seen across various studies that originally it was kind of a tool to misuse, but then many students with the appointment system, that was being pared down. But while reducing misuse, the appointment system has also led to a significant drop in the usage of the student care center among students. Even when participants believe that they genuinely need support, they sometimes feel discouraged or unable to access the services conveniently. And some students have expressed concerns about the barriers the appointment system creates, especially in urgent situations. So some areas of improvement around misuse. Participants across the groups expressed concern about student misuse of the student care center, especially in the previous year when it operated on solely a drop-in schedule. Student misuse also contributed to tensions between Burbank staff and FSA staff. Burbank staff desired more collaboration from the student care center to support their students' academic responsibilities, while the FSA staff wanted to maintain the student care center as a space to provide immediate and confidential student mental health support. So that was kind of an example of where they were existing in different paradigms. In terms of areas of improvement of impact on academics, there's less consensus among study participants on the student care center's impact on student academics. Some respondents acknowledge that the care center is a supportive resource that potentially aids students in managing stress and emotional challenges and therefore impacts positively on their academic performance, while others see that obviously the misuse of the student care center would negatively impact their academic performance. But notably, across all groups, participants explained that they don't have strong academic data points to prove the impact of the student care center on student academic performance. So in terms of perceptions of the student care center, across all the studies, participants highlight the free of cost and comforting environment the student care center provides as one of its biggest strengths. Study participants also expressed satisfaction with the student care center staff, with the majority of respondents indicating that the staff are respectful and helpful. And in terms of areas of improvement, there is a bit of a divide between staff perceptions. Focus group participants revealed deeply divided perceptions of the student care center between Burbank staff and FSA staff. So the focus groups were around staff from Burbank and then staff from FSA. Burbank participants raised significant concerns regarding the student care center's operations, primarily due to the perception of lack of communication, lack of transparency, and lack of collaboration from FSA. They believe that the separation creates barriers and undermines the potential for a unified school approach to supporting students' mental health. Whereas the FSA staff view the separation of the student care center from school-based mental health operations as a strength. So operating as a separate entity allows FSA to maintain a higher level of confidentiality for students, where they may trust that the student care center as a safe space and share things that they may not be willing to otherwise. I did think it was important to highlight that there was one piece from the focus groups of a counselor that said, FSA makes us tell them when we are assessing an FSA client for suicide, but reverse is not true. We are with these students every day and need to know when a suicide assessment is taking place. So this is kind of an example of, lack of communication and transparency. So barriers to services. Findings across the studies highlight that there are several barriers that affect student access and care at the student care center. One is wait times. So students selected wait times as the top limitation for the student care center. They believe that the new appointment system has made it more accessible for those who genuinely need the services, because the appointments can often be approved within 15 minutes, but it's still an area of concern. 76% of surveyed staff members highlighted a negative impact on class attendance as a significant limitation for the Student Care Center. They support the continued use of the appointment system and advocate for longer operational hours and flexible options for students. And then this kind of leads to the next one of scheduling options. Students and staff both expressed concern that the new appointment system could make it difficult for students in urgent need. Some respondents expressed the desire for options to schedule appointments in advance while also still allowing drop-in services, and students expressed a desire to be allowed multiple visits a week if needed. Oh, there's my contact information if anyone has any questions. But I can circle back to the recommendations and we can review those quickly. So these are synthesized recommendations from the various studies. The first is under that theme of awareness and accessibility. So increase awareness of the Student Care Center by encouraging students to seek help when needed and consider expanding operational hours and services of the Student Care Center. So nearly all staff and students in interviews indicated the need for expanded operational hours and more flexibility in the services offered. Both staff and students highlight that expanded operational hours would help alleviate the problem of students missing classes and also more effectively meet the needs of students during school hours. In terms of program impact, implementing a feedback or evaluation system for the Student Care Center services. Staff members indicate that a lack of data on the effectiveness of the Student Care Center on student academic performance and well-being is a concern. So considering implementing a robust feedback or evaluation system that includes students, parents, Burbank and FSA staff surveys, as well as academic and health outcome tracking would be effective. And then in regards of perceptions of the Student Care Center, Burbank should develop a comprehensive training program for the Student Care Center staff and the school staff. So while Burbank and FSA staff currently differ in their approaches to providing student care, all participants expressed a desire to better integrate student mental health and well-being approaches within school operations and culture. So developing a comprehensive training program for all school and SEC staff on the expected protocols for mental health assessments, for crisis intervention, and for regular student support would be beneficial in building that bridge between the two entities. And that's pretty much where we'll wrap up. If anyone has any other questions or thoughts, clarifying questions or anything.
Thank you, Tiffany. Did you guys have questions?
Yeah. Thanks so much for this. Did you see any examples on the program impact side of things of survey tools that were effective in engaging that kind of thing, engaging program impact?
Are you talking about for the feedback mechanisms?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's an area that could call for further discussion, but that's definitely an area where we didn't see that in the benchmarking, but there were areas within the vendor scan where they had those feedback loops already established. Some of the vendor scans have, or some of the vendors within the vendor scan had dashboards for each specific student where their care team, which included their counselor, their teacher, administrator, IEP specialist, parent, to be able to see not only their academics, but also kind of where they are within their mental health journey and treatment.
And was that data then integrated into the district's student information system, or was it living separately from
that? I'm not sure on. I know that the dashboards were accessible to people within the district.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Tiffany, just for my own edification, because I know I work at a school where we have Hazel Health, and students are pulled out to go. I work at a middle school. So what type of laws are there in terms of like the confidentiality? Because as a teacher, I can't find, they go and they come back and I don't know anything. So this issue of like even a dashboard, what goes on there and at what can get shared and what is confidential?
Yeah, I can't speak to which laws are in practice in certain areas. I could get back to you with that. But I think that would be discussions to have with any of your administrative team or the vendors that you all stay with or choose to move forward with.
Right now, what
I
we
do know that when I was a teacher, we always had those, sometimes we would have those cases of, handle with care students that we would be notified of. And so I would assume that's kind of falls within those same lines.
the information we collect
yeah.
right now is more demographic. So they won't give us student names, but they'll give us student ID number, what time they checked in, what time they checked out, that kind of information.
Okay. Thank you.
John, are those, Dr. Paramo, are those absences gathered? Does any of that data get tracked into Aries at all?
So at the end of the day, they will produce a sheet, and then that gets tagged in attendance if they were missing for 2 periods.
Okay. So, but it will say that they're missing because they were at the student care center?
It's just a code
Okay.
on it that we know
Okay.
what that means.
But we're able to pull any sort of reports about absences based on that code? No?
Dr. Paramo, just to clarify, also, just as far as data, I just want to be clear that, so Lorette, this may speak to your question a little bit. When we were at CSBA, I want to say 2 years ago, we made sure to attend a couple of sessions on wellness centers. And one of the questions that Dr. Paramo had specifically for the people presenting was, what are those sort of requirements / limitations on data sharing? And what they told us is it is very common practice, and it is sort of like the basic standard that there is data sharing between mental health service providers and the district for whom they work. So we're not talking about a breach of confidentiality. What we are talking about are things like things that, for example, the data at least I've been asking for from FSA for the last 5 years, which is how many students do you see per week? How many, what grade are they in? Gender breakdown and severity. Yeah, because we can't figure out how to allocate our funds effectively if we don't know what our students are in need of. And unfortunately, that, unless I'm wrong, Dr. Paramo, not only is that information not been given to us full stop, I think there has been constant frustration between our counselors and our school psychologists and our teachers and admin as far as not having similar information when you do have a student who is going to the care center 30, 40 times a month. And that's not information that's known. And so I think you're raising a really important question, which is the sharing of data, not in any way a breach of confidentiality, but, what information are we getting? What information have we asked for and are getting? And I think that all of that sort of speaks to your larger question of, what's required and what's not. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. Can I quickly ask a brief question? Tiffany, the organizations that you guys recommend, do you have a pre-existing relationship with these organizations, or are they recommended to us because you think that they're the strongest organizations for us to look into?
No, we don't have a pre-existing relationship with any of the organizations. Our vendor scans are conducted primarily for this one, especially on location, proximity to Burbank, and accessibility for students. And then we looked at the various offerings to make sure that they not only offered what FSA offered, but also maybe a bit more, different formats, things like that.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions for me about
Tiffany-
any of the research
Tiffany,
and data shared?
Yeah, I had one more. Just in terms of on the program impact areas of strength, you have the percentages. In terms of, with our peer districts, how do those numbers compare to the peer districts in terms of the 56, 43, 70? And I guess, the little and are any of those percentages really significant?
I can't speak to that. The survey that we designed was customized for Burbank, and so that would be a different study to be conducted with those districts, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you.
one more quick clarifying question. When you talked about, I know Ms. Ponser, I think Ms. Ponser Kamkar asked this about, somebody did, and it was a good one, but about districts that we were being compared to, and you said that they were comparable as far as like demographics, right? And so I think the thing that we need, you did, Ms. Cano. I think another question, and I think, Ms. Davis, you said you weren't able to answer this, is comparable financially is my question. Not socioeconomic, like if a school is getting, if a district is getting significantly more funds, they have a lot more unduplicated pupils. My question is, and we didn't ask that, so I don't think that's in here, but I think that really speaks to a question of if the school is really able to offer much more in-depth mental health services, is that because they found a great way of doing it, or is it because they have millions of more dollars and they did it that way? So I think that's also something that would be really helpful to know about those other districts, which is, are they doing it differently because they found, like I said, they found a good way, or are they doing it differently because they have a bunch more money to do it differently? Because that really matters.
We also include within identifying peer districts per pupil allocation, in addition to those demographic variables.
Thank you, Tiffany. Appreciate you staying up late and doing that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed listening to the choir. So thank you all for having me this evening. It was nice to meet all of you all virtually. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Tiffany's on, I think, East Coast time, so appreciate
Yes.
it again. We have
Yes,
our own
indeed.
discussion to have, but thank you for your time tonight and answering the questions of our board.
Of course. You all have a good evening. Take care.
Thank you. All right. Next item.
No. Oh, you silly man.
Next item, discussion. Okay, who wants to go first?
Well, okay, so first can we
You
ask,
go.
like, so staff, tell us what your kind of takeaways were from this in terms of next steps,
Sure.
et cetera.
Well, I think it's important that we start with how we got to this point. And what was requested from staff is that we audit with our stakeholder groups their perceptions about the care center and trying to find out what our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, and how we can provide better service. So that was the purpose for this and where we're going. I just want to make it clear because in a public comment it was hinted at. This study wasn't conducted because we're trying to reduce the amount of money we're investing in mental health. That is far from where we are. We know that part of educating a child is to make sure that they are socially and emotionally in a place where they can receive the information to learn English, math, science, and social studies. So it is a part of what we do in our modern society. What I can tell you, having been in the district for 20 years, is that we have heard some common concerns about the student care centers for the last several years. And one of the things that, in my opinion, was really important, it was for someone on the outside to validate, confirm what our stakeholders are feeling about the service we're providing. And I personally, when I read the responses from staff, responses from students, none of this is surprising to me. What was important is that we have an outside group who's going to confirm that. So for me, this is an indication of what things are going well and what kids are saying is working really well and is good, and where there's a disconnect and where there needs to be improvement. And the whole idea is to make sure that we are providing the best possible service we can for kids, because it's important. In my opinion, the whole reason why we did this audit is because we think it's very important, and because mental health is important. And if this is doing the job, great. Let's pat ourselves on the back. If there's room to improve, then we need to dig in and we need to figure out how to improve and how to make it better. I can't do that unless I know how students feel. I can't do that unless I know how staff feels. And that's why, to me, this was important, why it was worth the investment. And now it's up to us to figure out where we want to go and what direction we want to go.
Yes, Dr. Weisberg.
A couple of things stood out to me, but I am really interested to hear from staff. And one of the things that I think is important for us to do moving forward is to continue to have these conversations, because I asked Dr. Paramo about this once I read through the report, what had been done, because I wasn't on the board at this, I don't think any of us were, correct me if I'm wrong, but that when this care center model was first brought to Burbank Unified, what kind of community outreach was there? What kind of focus groups, conversation, fact gathering was there, so that the care centers, in my mind, were they created out of those conversations? And what's been shared with me is that no. So they came from the sort of, a couple of people had a really good idea, and you can't fault people for an amazing idea, which is to really want to help and support student mental health. Couldn't be more important now, but that there wasn't this sort of reaching out to counselors, school psychs, parents, teachers, admins, students to say, what do you need? Right. And I think when you look at the report, it's hard because, it's limited when you look at the numbers. You're talking about, where did it go? What's the percentage of kids that 48% of students are saying they kind of know what's being offered. And so that in and of itself lets me know that perhaps we're not even meeting a need, because we don't even know what they need. So that was something that was highlighted for me, is that there need to be significantly more conversations about this. I've certainly had an enormous amount of, I guess essentially anecdotal conversations. I met with the Student Mental Health Board a second time this year. But the other thing that really stood out to me was, if you read some of the quotes, so I'm looking at page 10, where students talk about very serious privacy concerns, operational hours and wait times, and the 11, where they talked about near-allow focus group participants recognize that FSA and BUSD staff operate within fundamentally different paradigms for how best to care for our students. And I think the thing that we really need to keep in mind here is that we are contracting with a mental health provider, whoever that mental health provider is, to serve our students and to support our staff who are already doing that job. And it worries me enormously to hear that there are fundamentally different paradigms, and that there seemed to be, at least from our staff, a sense of a lack of reciprocal communication. And that worries me enormously, including the comment about, suicidal ideation, and there not being the sort of same reciprocal sharing of information from FSA to our staff and vice versa, because these students, their health and safety and well-being, mental, physical, is our responsibility. And if our counselors are telling us that they're not getting that information, or our school psychs are telling us, that raises a lot of very scary red flags for me. And I think fundamentally, and maybe I'm wrong, one of the things that we want from any provider that we work with, whether it's mental health, special education, whatever it is, are clear and consistent lines of communication and agreeing upon the paradigm that that if we're offering mental health care, that we're on the same page and that we're all willing to share information and work together towards the goal of serving our student mental health. And so those are some things that worried me enormously. I also had some questions. I think it's challenging, and Dr. Promo, we talked about this a little bit. FSA, we pay FSA for a service, right? That's totally okay. That's exactly what you do. You contract with a service provider and they provide a service. When you look through some of the FSA comments in the focus group, I would be hard pressed to find another district or organization who would ask. I mean, there's a fundamental conflict of interest, right? In asking the provider that you work with to maybe say positive or negative things about the service they're providing. You're not going to set it up for an honest conversation. It's not kind of fair for anybody. But the FSA staff member comment about students going to be met in a room that doesn't look like a classroom. There's warm colors, ambient sounds, music playing. Therapists are waiting for them to welcome them in, help them get signed in, then they grab a seat. And that directly contradicts student focus group data that says in here there are enormous wait times. There's a lack of privacy. Sometimes I don't get seen. And so I think for me, there does seem to be some contradictory information in this, and that also concerns me. And again, with the, meeting with other groups, the anecdotal information I've received does contradict that as well. And so again, this isn't, I want to say, and I'll say it forever, this isn't about throwing anybody under the bus, but I do think we need to, as Mr. Flores said, we need to ask ourselves some really difficult questions. And if this quote about being met in a room that is welcoming with therapists who welcome them, but then you look at another quote, multiple quotes from students who are saying, I wait for a really long time, I sometimes don't get to see anybody, and when I do, there's a lack of privacy and I have to whisper or go outside, that feels like a disconnect to me. And so it makes me wonder about, it makes me wonder, because I don't understand how there can be such vastly different understandings of the space and the use. So that I'm all over the place a little bit, but I think fundamentally the things that stood out to me were the issues with privacy, the lack of communication. And I really trust our staff, our counselors and our school psychs and our district staff. And when they're telling us here and in other places, we're not getting the information we need to support our students, it makes me say, okay, well then what model could there be in which they are getting that information? And how best can we use the money that we've allocated, not less money, the money, to better create these places that are more symbiotic, where everybody's working together to create a safety net for our kids. And it's not a sort of withholding or dividing that's happening.
Okay, Ms. Tabbitt.
Like a good business plan, there has to be some constant evolvement, right? And I think as a district, we failed to do that. And you can see it in this survey. When the care centers first came about, pre-pandemic, how long, 15 years? 10 years ago?
Yeah, it came from Mike Bertram, who went to a conference and saw a presentation and wanted to try to replicate that at Burbank High School. And so he started conversations with the director of FSA about what they could do to make it happen, and he allocated a room, and it happened very organically. This wasn't district driven. This was driven by a site principal who wanted to do something good for kids. And once that care center was established at Burbank High, Deborah Madrigal wanted to be able to provide that for students at Burroughs, and so she reached out to FSA, and they had conversations about how they could do this at Burroughs. So that is how it happened organically. And here's what I'm going to say. I have no idea what conference that Dr. Bertram was at. What I would say is that I'm going to make a very educated guess that if I was in that room and I listened to that presentation, I would probably be thinking, yeah, I want that too. Look, in my opinion, this model is utopian. Who's not going to sign up for? Students can drop in with no obstacles, have mental health services at their disposal during the school day. Who's not going to want that? But this comes with unintended consequences, and those are hard to get past. And for good reasons, we were more focused on all the benefits that this was going to provide, and went into it with that. But on the other end, there have been some unintended consequences that have been harder to get past.
So, and when he brought it together, the idea was he wanted a safe place where kids didn't feel drawn out or recognized as going, because at that time, it still wasn't cool, wasn't okay to ask for mental health help. It just wasn't. And there was a lot of stigma to it. So, and then we had a pandemic hit, and then we haven't grown. Right. Or changed, and I'm not sure that the information that I've read so far is going to help us with that. Honestly, I mean, we can see what other districts are doing and how much effort they're putting into, but, this is Burbank, and it might be a little bit different here. And I think this is something that, like you said, tonight was for discussion based on some information we have. And I think this is going to take a few more sessions and lots more time by people who are involved to talk about it and talk about what do our students need and what would be a better option at this point in time, because it may change in 4 years too. I mean, it may change every time we have a complete new cycle of kids in our high schools. I'm not saying exactly, but how the culture at a school, you've been a high school principal, Dr. Macias, that culture at a high school changes every 4 years because you have a whole brand new crop of kids. There's a whole bunch of new issues. We talked today about the politics that have changed the atmosphere, our national politics that have changed the atmosphere in our school sites. So then the needs of those students change. And so this is something I think, I don't know, by committee, by something else, but that this conversation is ongoing.
I just think that when you look at the trajectory and you look at this longitudinally, this is the time where a program that's been around for a while, this is the time where you start reflecting and saying, how do we make this better? How do we make this better for kids? What adjustments can we make? And in all honesty, we have to listen to all stakeholder groups, because as difficult as it is to say, perceptions are a reality we have to deal with. And we need to hear what these our folks are saying and thinking to be able to know how to address our service and how to make it better so that our kids are being helped and served, and our staff and people and folks on the school site are feeling like this is something they can support.
I was thinking of what Mr. Flores said in terms of it's the time to hold up the mirror, to look. And again, for good or for bad, there you might see something good too. I guess one of the things you just said, the word I put down, longitudinal, because my daughter was in high school, and so was my niece when they started, and going in and seeing these, rooms. They took the old cheer room, basically, at Sharon Burroughs High School and turned it into the room. And so I know both of them, kids in my family took advantage of it and just found, for the kids suffer from anxiety. So there was a lot that was supported, but I think that idea of, yes, it has grown because it was very organic. And no, to answer your question, there was no discussion. All of a sudden they were just like, we're going to have a mental health. I was like, what? It's the center. We can go in and you can, it's really quiet. And I was like, what? Wait, what? So yeah, we didn't really know all that much about it, but I do have the question is, looking at other models like Ms. Tabbitt said, looking and seeing what do they look like. Like I said, I know personally, just the school I work at is Hazel Health. I mean, I don't really know anything because they don't really share anything with me. And that brings me back to that question still in terms of, we're talking to them when they say it's a paradigm difference. Well, yeah, they're two completely different entities. One is a school, one is a mental health organization, and mental health organizations do have stipulations in terms of what we can actually share with you. I mean, and that's one of the things, even for the kids, they're kind of like, I want my privacy, and the school said, well, we want to know. Those don't always mesh. Maybe the school psychologist is qualified or, legally can take that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, how are other districts doing that and getting that together? Because as you said, the information we do get right now is just a lot more demographic. How many kids are going, so I think that's great to see trends. But in terms of some of the other things of specific child, that this is what they have. No. I'm saying in terms of, we've got suicidal ideation. We've got this child, and who can they tell? Because it sounds like sometimes there's not, that communication's not happening. So I'm saying, but what kind of, who can they legally tell? Who can they? Because like I say, sometimes it's just, they're just two different entities that we need to find that way.
But they're all mandated reporters.
Yes.
So
but
I think
who are they I'm saying mandated reporting to who then?
Well, that's the question, right?
Yeah.
Like, it should be admin at the school. Every adult in that school is a mandated reporter, right? So I think that's an area where it's like there shouldn't be a paradigm. There shouldn't be a divide in that case. And I think that's part of the issue is, why is there? Right? Because at that point, it's about a student's life, right? If it's a threat to the student or to someone else's life, you are mandated to report. So there shouldn't be this, well, I don't know if I really want to report this to the school principal or the school psych. That should never be a conversation. And we have heard from counselors that has happened on multiple occasions, taking a wait or see approach when a student has expressed suicidal ideation. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
There's no world in which that's appropriate.
Right, but what I'm just saying is that they are just two such different entities. So that the idea of that, it sounds like, yes, we realize, oh my gosh, there's two different entities. We've got apples, we've got oranges. How are we going to, blend that juice? Is I think now we're
and honestly, that's what makes this so difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically have an outside agency who's living in your house, but it's still separate, and that doesn't feel good for a principal who's trying to run a school and protect the 2,300 kids they have there. So it's just a really weird, awkward dynamic, and it can be frustrating. So I recognize that. I think FSA recognizes that. I think that, in my opinion, I think that this is a conversation that needs to be ongoing. I think that we need to be engaging our school communities and multiple stakeholder groups. I think this is a kind of conversation that will not be done soon because it's going to be a long conversation. But I think that this is the window or opportunity to really revision what it could look like and how we can make it better. And I'm open for that task, and I know district staff is as well.
Yeah, I think on that note, I think we're very aligned, right? Because what I was going to say was, what would be great is for us to design what we actually want to happen, right? No matter who the vendor is, right? So if that is, we want a student care center where students can drop by. We want this kind of data. And I think we got part of the way there with the contract that we set out with FSA this year. It sounds to me like we need to go a little bit deeper in terms of program design and be pretty prescriptive. And then maybe the answer is, we have set out what we want and we're doing an RFP. And they can respond to that RFP or not, and see if they can commit to some of the things that we're asking for. I don't know if that's the right next step, but it seems to me that like if we were starting a new program and using an external vendor, that's what we would do.
to add on to that, I would say two things. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this year we were very prescriptive. And we can have a longer conversation about whether or not that was met. What I think along the lines of what you brought up, which I think is unbelievably important, is I want to make sure that whatever conversation we have about whatever the model is, right? But pre-RFP, pre-whatever, is that it is a conversation that is had with counselors, students, parents, district staff, everybody who this work touches needs to be involved in the conversation so that when we come back to have a real conversation about what we want, it is entirely informed by the people doing the work. What I would be afraid of happening is a sort of repeat of, we have a good idea, we have good intentions, we want to do this, but we didn't ask anybody. So, and I know you're not saying, let's just do it, but I think it's important to say out loud that like, this decision has got to be informed by the people on whom this impacts every day. And so for me, you know, like how we gather that information, how we're engaging in that conversation is so important. But I think the way you framed it is important, which is let's not assume it has to be, look, sound like anything. Let's hear from people what they need and then create something responsive to that and then figure out what we're going to do. Because I think that instinct to me resonates.
Yeah. I think what I was, I think what we did with this year's contract is to try to put in place a number of asks and requirements that were based on the existing program, right? And I guess what I'm asking is, what if we did not use those as the constraints, but we thought about what do we actually need to serve our students? And that is informed by talking to students, parents, counselors. And a lot of that data, I believe, is in the research that Hanover has done. And say, these are our program requirements. Who can meet these? Rather than trying, I think, to work around the edges of what we already have in place. I also recognize that is a load of work.
It's a lot of work.
And so I'm not expecting for that to happen.
That's year-long work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Is I'm not expecting for that to happen immediately, or just because we have this data, but that we spend the time to then say, okay, maybe we have something new in place, or maybe we're talking about what the new thing could look like this time next year for the following school year. Right? I'm not expecting anything rapid.
Thank you.
So,
just to add to the workload on that, would we want to even do any type of longitudinal, like looking back at former, people who've used it in the past? Because I don't know, in terms of what we're saying, because right now we have what is the now, it's the Polaroid snapshot right now, but we do have people that have been using this for, up to possibly 10 years back. So could we in any way go back some or find some way of doing surveying past?
Ms. Connor, I think one thing that we need to talk, because some of us were here at the beginning of this. So there was concerns, questions, there was renaming. Remember, it was called something else. Then we changed it. They come up with new names. Let's call it this, let's call it that. I think, and it's for me personally, what's important is that we've had these conversations before. This survey is long due. We have a third party, just like any business. At one point, you're going to have to, evaluate. And there's some feedback set. And I think it's important for us to really look at, dealing with the third party. And I don't know how often we do assessments of third party contracts, but I think it's important that if we're not doing it as often, we should. I think we should have done this a while ago, because these concerns have been raised before, and there was name change. Again, it's been kind of and I don't want to look. I hear the word is a monumental task, yes and no. Third-party institutions are paid to do this. This is their job. This is what they specialize in. And I think what we have to look at is look at the data, see what's feasible, what's not, and how we can improve it. But Is it our job to really improve this? Yes. So if it is, then let's make sure the feedback is there with concerns about what our expectations are when we're dealing with the third party. Just like any business, there are certain expectations that you need to be reported on. And I think that's another question I have. Do we get on regular, terms reports and not as well? And at the same time,
Yeah, in the contract, there's a frequency in terms of data. Have they ever come and done a comprehensive report to the board? No, that's not to my knowledge.
I have not seen one, have you?
To the best of my knowledge, that has not occurred.
Exactly. So. Huh? Excuse me?
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Last question for staff, which is there anything, I know Dr. Paramo, you said that there was nothing surprising in this. It was all pretty much a confirmation of anecdotal stuff. My question is there anything, and this could be a redundant question, in which case I had just told you, but is there anything that you did take away from this that not was surprising, but was like informative or a confirmation or, what did you say? An aha moment, yeah.
So I think that the way I would like to answer that question is that I meet with students all the time. Mental health group initiates meetings to come and speak to the superintendent, and I get to meet with them. I've met with them twice already. I meet with principals. I meet with counselors. I meet with teachers, and I am hearing information on this topic from every stakeholder group. And so that is information that it's data. I get that data from multiple sources, right? And so when I read that report, there was absolutely nothing that shocked me. There was absolutely nothing that surprised me. Both on the positive side and on the negative, we need to improve side. This is all information that we have been hearing for the last several years.
To follow up on a question Dr. Agakanian asked, which I thought was an important one, about data. So I know we requested in the new contract specific data be shared with the district at a specific time. I think that's what you asked, right, Dr. Agakanian? Good question. And have we received that regularly and the type of data we've asked for?
I know we've received that data. That usually goes to Dr. Macias, and then from Dr. Macias, it gets pushed out to both to myself and to the board. So I'm not sure if we got the last one. I think the frequency, I can't remember off the top of my head, was every 10 weeks, every 5 weeks.
I think it was every 5.
But my question is again, if you're paying someone to do their job and 48% of students don't know what it is, that's a big number. That's almost 50%, 52% to be exact, of your clients not being aware of what it is you do.
I understand.
That's not a good business model, is it? Thank you.
The only other request I'd make as we think about re-envisioning this is I feel like one of the big complaints that we've heard is that this interrupts or at least interferes with academic time, right? That students are using it to skip class or that they are using it at a time that is most convenient for them and not necessarily taking into account the trade-off that they're making with their academics, right?
That's correct.
And there are maybe times where they have to go, they need to go, and that's the time they are going to go. There's also probably an amount of choice that is happening where they say, I feel like I need to go to the student care center today. I'm going to go during the class in which I am struggling the most, I am the most bored, I am whatever. And so in light of the fact that we've got very clear academic goals, I'd like for us to think about how do we structure something that supports those academic goals, not just in saying that we know that emotional and mental health is important to supporting academic goals, but also how do we structure the operations of our mental health work to support academics? Because I feel
Understand.
like if we don't get that part right, we are going to continue to have, no matter how much information teachers are getting from whoever is doing the work, if there's not a way to try to balance some of that, it's going to be hard to get buy-in from teachers and staff.
And this is a conversation we had several times, by the way. I mean, before you were also on the board.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions and comments? So what is the next step? We're going to come back, continue the conversation?
District staff will facilitate conversations with stakeholder groups and work towards bringing something to the board that represents what our stakeholder groups think is the best way to go to provide services for our students.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, 12, new and unfinished business. 12A, adoption of Resolution 46 in support of Pride Month, June 2025. Get a motion?
Wait, what are we on?
46. Oh, sorry.
12A.
I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, Dr. Gagani, I move that we adopt Resolution 46 in support of Pride Month 2025.
Good.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Weiser, seconded by Vice President Ponser Comcar. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Would you like to read the resolution, please?
Sure. Whereas the Burbank Unified School District models, advocates, actively supports, and promotes the inclusive and respectful treatment of all students, staff, family members, and community members. Whereas the district believes that all students should be able to attend school in a safe and inclusive environment free from discrimination. Whereas the district is firmly committed to providing a safe, nurturing, and tolerant environment in our schools. Whereas the district is firmly committed to school safety for all students, staff, and family members, including the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning, intersex, and asexual, LGBTQIA+ community, or those that may be perceived as such. Whereas the district believes that sexual orientation and gender expression biased bullying are among the most common forms of harassment in schools, and the lack of awareness and understanding of these issues have contributed to a higher rate of isolation, depression, and suicidal ideations or attempts. Whereas the significantly higher rates of school dropout, academic failure, and school disengagement among LGBTQIA+ youth across the country are attributed to peer harassment and bullying. Whereas children who do not conform to gender stereotypes are more likely to be targets of harassment and bullying. Whereas all district schools must strive to ensure that Burbank schools are consistently safe and affirming spaces for all students, staff, and their families. Whereas pursuant to Ed Code Section 200, it is the policy of California to afford all persons in public schools, regardless of their disability, gender, gender identity, gender expression, nationality, race or ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or any other protected characteristic, equal rights and opportunities in the educational institutions of California. Whereas pursuant to Ed Code Section 201, all California's public schools have an affirmative obligation to combat racism, sexism, and other forms of bias, and a responsibility to provide equal educational opportunity. Whereas pursuant to the Ed Code Section 51933, California Healthy Youth Act, and Board Policy 6142.1, all California's public schools must provide comprehensive sexual health education to encourage the development of healthy attitudes of adolescent growth and development, body image, gender, sexual orientation, and relationships, and ensure that sexual health education does not promote outdated gender norms. Whereas the Student Success and Opportunity Act of 2013 strengthened protections for transgender students and affirmed that all students should be recognized and participate in activities by their gender of identity. Whereas the district endorses training for educators and other school-related professionals to support all students dealing with the issues of sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. Whereas the district recognizes LGBTQIA+ as a protected group and addresses discrimination based upon sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. Whereas the district recognizes that education regarding LGBTQIA+ issues increases understanding and cultivates acceptance of and respect for LGBTQIA+ students. Whereas the month of June provides an opportunity to celebrate and value the identities and contributions of the LGBTQIA+ community, whereas a knowledge of LGBTQIA+ history for all students enables LGBTQIA+ students, families, and educators to be supported by the district community to uphold affirmative lives with dignity and respect. Whereas, by recognizing Pride Month, the district demonstrates support of policies, practices, and curriculum that honor and respect LGBTQIA+ students, staff, and their families. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Burbank Unified School District Board of Education hereby designates June 2025 as Pride Month and directs the superintendent and all district staff to support policies, practices, and curricula that respect LGBTQIA+ students and their families throughout the year. The district will also fly pride flags at each site for the month of June.
Thank you.
That's a long one.
That was a long one. Thank you, Dr. Weisberg. 12B, adoption of Resolution 47, proclaiming May 22nd, 2025 as Harvey Milk Day.
Dr. Agakanian?
Yes.
I move we adopt Resolution 47, proclaiming May 22nd, 2025 as Harvey Milk Day.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Please read the resolution.
All right. Whereas today we honor the life and legacy of Harvey Milk, an openly gay politician in California and leader of the American Civil Rights Movement, and whereas Time magazine included Harvey Milk on a list entitled the 100 Most Important People of the 20th Century, and whereas Harvey Milk was not only an advocate for the LGBTQIA+ community, but for all minorities, he believed in safe, strong neighborhoods and supported public education, affordable health, childcare, and equal rights for all. Whereas Harvey Milk was elected to the position of city supervisor in San Francisco, where he held office for 1 year before his life was tragically cut short in 1978 by a political rival who opposed Milk's liberal views, and whereas Harvey Milk's contributions to the cause of equality for all people has been recognized in a number of ways, including the issuance of a stamp with his picture on it, the posthumous awarding of the Medal of Freedom, and whereas Harvey Milk's work continues today through the work of the Milk Foundation, founded by his nephew Stuart Milk in honor of his uncle. Whereas we honor Harvey Milk today, let us remember his words, hope will never be silent. Members of the LGBTQIA+ community in the United States and around the world still face discrimination and violence rooted in the same hatred that Milk died fighting. They deserve hope, and they cannot abide our silence. Now, therefore, it is proclaimed by the Burbank Unified School Board of Education and on behalf of the citizens of the city of Burbank, California, that we proclaim May 22nd, 2025 as Harvey Milk Day.
Thank you very much. 12C, adoption of Resolution 48 proclaiming the month of May as the Burbank Unified School District Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Can I get a motion, please? Can I get a second, please? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Miss Ponce-Comcar.
Ms. Cano's going to read it.
All right, Miss Cano, there you go. You had the longest one, so.
Okay. Resolution 48 proclaiming 2025 Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Whereas Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, the AAPI Heritage Month, is an annual celebration that recognizes the historical and cultural contributions of individuals and groups of Asian and Pacific Islander descent in the United States. And whereas the Asian American and Pacific Islander community is an inherently diverse population composed of more than 45 distinct ethnicities and more than 100 language dialects. And whereas there are approximately 22 million residents of the United States who identify as Asian and approximately 1,600,000 residents of the United States who identify as Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, making up nearly 7% of the total population of the United States. And whereas California has the largest Asian American population in the United States and the second highest population of Asian American residents after Hawaii, and whereas the month of May was selected for Asian Pacific American Heritage Month because the first Japanese immigrants arrived in the United States on May 7, 1843, and the first transcontinental railroad was completed on May 10, 1869, with substantial contributions from Chinese immigrants. And whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have played a key role in American history since the first Chinese immigrants arrived to the United States in the 1850s following the California Gold Rush. And whereas there are numerous historical Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders contributors to the United States, including activists, actors, architects, athletes, artists, authors, activists, creators, doctors, entrepreneurs, inventors, musicians, performers, political leaders, scientists, singers, writers, and so many more. And whereas the Burbank Unified School District celebrates the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month and recognizes the significant contributions that Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders offer the community at large, and now therefore be it resolved that the Burbank Unified School District Board of Education hereby declares May 2025 as Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the Burbank Unified School District. We urge all community members to join us in recognizing Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders.
Well read.
Let's hear it for Ms. Connor, everyone. All right, Dr. Macias.
Good evening, Dr. Agakanian, Board President, Vice President, esteemed board members, Dr. Palmer, Superintendent, District Leadership Team, and the Burbank community. I'm here once again very proud to represent our Burbank Unified Library Coordinators. And before I read their script, and they've been so amazing, I want to make sure that we acknowledge them. They've done this all year long. In particular, I was at Burbank High today, and I was able to have a quick conversation with Alicia Boot, who really took this on and assured me that next year they will continue to do so. So we're really proud of them and grateful. The Burbank Unified School District Library Coordinators, thank you for the opportunity to offer some readings that highlight the awareness months and days which provide opportunities for education and reflection. And reading books related to these themes help build empathy and unity in our schools and our community. If we can get the slide presentation up, projected, please. There it is. Thank you so much. For Asian American and Pacific Islander Month, for our young readers, our library coordinators have selected Finding Papa by Angela Pham Kranz. This story follows May and her mother as they journey from Vietnam to America to find Papa, who left ahead of them to start a better life for their family. They say goodbye to the only home May has ever known and begin a long, perilous journey by foot and by boat through dangers and darkness to find Papa. Finding Papa reminds us that love and courage can stretch an ocean and that nothing can keep us apart from those we care about. For our middle school students, the recommendation is Front Desk by Kelly Yang. Mia Tang and her immigrant parents are not exactly living the American dream since moving here from China. They live in Cala Vista Motel, and Mia must tend to its guests. Her parents, meanwhile, have been hiding illegal immigrants in the motel's empty rooms, risking the wrath of the owner, Mr. Yao. On the personal life front, Mia wants to become a writer, but her mother is being very discouraging because she is better at math than English, and English is not her first language. No matter what, however, Mia vows to follow her dreams. And lastly, for our high school students, they have suggested The Ping Pong Queen from Chinatown by Andrew Yang. After quitting piano lessons and competitive ping pong, high school junior Felix Ma needs something to set himself apart on his college applications. So he decided to start a film club at school. He asked Cassie Chow, a bubbly high school senior, who shares Felix's anxieties about the future and complicated relationship with parental expectations, to star in his short film. And while the project starts out as lighthearted mockumentary, things get serious when Felix's college admissions coach advises him to turn the film into college essay material. But when the film starts focusing on Cassie's fraught relationship with her mother, Felix must decide whether pleasing his parents and getting into college is worth losing a friend. And that's it. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Macias. You can clap if you want. All right, 12D, adoption of Resolution 49 proclaiming May 18, 2025 through May 24, 2025 as Classified Employee Week.
Dr. Agakanian.
Yes.
I move that the Burbank Board of Education adopt Resolution 49 proclaiming May 18th, 2025 through May 24th, 2025 as Classified Employee Week.
Get a second, please? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Do the honors of reading the resolution.
I would be happy to. Resolution 49 proclaiming May 18th through the 24th, 2025 as Classified Employee Week. Whereas the efforts of the classified staff members of the Burbank Unified School District are essential to the successful operation of the district's programs. And whereas the many contributions made by classified employees should be publicly recognized. And whereas classified employees serve the community of Burbank through their support of students in the classrooms, offices, and facilities of the district. And whereas classified employees contribute to the establishment and promotion of a positive instructional environment. And whereas classified employees provide knowledge, skills, and expertise that are relied upon throughout the district on a daily basis. And whereas classified employees serve a vital role in providing for the welfare and safety of the Burbank Unified School District students. And whereas classified employees of the Burbank Unified School District strive for excellence, platinum, in all areas relative to the educational community. And whereas classified employees, often unrecognized, deserve special recognition for their contributions to our children in the city of Burbank, the state of California, and the nation. And now, therefore, it be it resolved that the Board of Education extends its sincere appreciation to the classified employees of the Burbank Unified School District and encourages the community to recognize and honor their contribution to a quality education and celebrate the accomplishments of the district's classified staff, and hereby proclaims the week of May 18th, 2025 through May 24th, 2025, Classified Employee Week.
Next, we have 12E, approval of board policy and administrative regulation, 1312.3, uniform compliance procedures. Dr. Kanapik, you want to enlighten us on this one?
Absolutely. The uniform complaint procedures are the mainstay and the foundational piece of all of our complaints. And so with changes to education code, changes to code of federal CFR, code of federal regulations, there has been subsequent changes to policy. So a couple of changes include that our instructional textbooks, instructional materials do not allow for discrimination, so we can't adopt books that have discriminatory statements in them. There's also a change that clarifies that any kind of sex-based harassment or sex-based discrimination, all of those kind of investigations would now be filed through Federal Title IX complaint procedures. So those are the primary ones. And so in the policy that I presented, the highlighted verbiage is the additions, and then the cross-outs are the ones that are the deletions from the policy. Yeah.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. 12F, approval of 3%. Oh, we pulled that one. Thank you. 12G, approval of 2025-26 instructional continuity plan. What do we have here? Oh, Dr. Kanapik.
The instructional continuity plan stems from the learning continuity plan that was put into place during the COVID pandemic. So Senate Bill 153 requires us to adopt a instructional continuity plan, and within that plan, we have such aspects as to what does distance learning look like, what is the daily delivery of lessons look like, how would we distribute technology, food services distribution, how would we do assessments, how are we going to communicate, how are we going to handle mental health, physical health, child care services. So all these aspects, while they're outlined here in this instructional continuity plan, it's just a template, and the actual practices that the district is going to be implementing during an emergency or a disaster are all going to need to be negotiated with the Burbank Teachers Association and with CSEA. So once again, this is just a framework, and this is required for us to have in place by July 1. It's a compliance document.
Ms. Ponser-Kamkar.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm just reflecting on January when we closed schools for wildfire damage and because staff was not going to be like all sorts of things, right? And the response there was closure. Forgive me for not having read this document as closely as I might otherwise, but is there a kind of time horizon in which we start to take steps that are not school closure?
Within the requirements of the law, we have 5 days to communicate out to the community about our continuity plan. So what does, let's say, remote or distance learning look like? And then within 10 days, we have to implement distance learning. And that's required in Senate Bill 153.
Got it. So if there was a situation like we had in January where we knew it was going to be probably less than 5 to 10 days, we can simply kind of close schools. But I make up that this team was probably trying to figure out.
Yeah. Senate Bill 153 is in response to the Eaton fire in particular, the Palisades fire in particular. So what are school districts doing when an emergency such as that happens?
Got it. Thank you.
Just have it.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember one of the reasons that we were okay to close was because the governor had claimed us in a state of emergency. And so that automatically put us into another filter that allowed us to make that decision right away.
And that's also part of the continuity plan, that we would have to take orders for, or direction from the executive orders given by the governor as well as the LA County Health Department.
Okay, that was a cheers for Dr. Knappe. Isn't he great? He even knows the laws. He's not even reading notes. He's just memorized all of this. Thank you, Dr. Knappe. And may we not have another day when we have to close schools because of what happened, so. Huh? I didn't hear that. What? You went to Pepperdine? Is that what you said? Oh, sorry. All right. Next we have, what? Our new state principal went to Pepperdine, so.
Did we vote? Did we vote?
No.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Consent agenda. May I have a motion and second to approve items 13A through 13P?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving on, we have, I believe, one retirement. Well, let's 14A, let's start with reports from board members. Dr. Weisberg.
Thank you, sir. Let me get to my notes. Okie dokie. I completely spaced during my comments, so I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Nicole Trebecki. Thank you to Vice President Ponser-Kamkar for bringing up the vital role that BTA and Nicole played in getting the bond passed. Couldn't have done it without you. Partnering with you has been fantastic, and I look forward to continued working with you. Also, a huge shout out to Providencia, Principal Celeste, the whole team there, unbelievable. Our teachers of the year and our teacher of the year. Huge congrats to all of you. Maybe I'm speaking for myself, but like we're in the home stretch. It is rough right now. I am tired. My children are goblins. So just huge appreciation to all of the teachers, classified staff, everybody who's pushing through these final couple of weeks, including our district staff and admin, to celebrate with everybody once we cross the finish line. Thank you to BTA. I was able to stop by their retirement celebration yesterday. Pretty unbelievable. We had an amazing number of people who were celebrating 25 years in the district, including our fabulous head nurse. And so many people retiring. It was just a beautiful thing to see and to celebrate all of them and to see community members come out for that as well. I also just wanted to take a quick second because we are heading into, I'm so organized until I actually need my stuff in front of me and then I can't find it. As we head into Pride Month, to highlight two things that our amazing public libraries are doing. So they are holding a Pride Art Contest in the month of June to create a piece of art that represents what queer or trans joy means to you. And they're going to turn them into a library card design, which is super awesome. I might have to get one to replace my Cool Peanuts one, just saying. So you can find information at the website. You just submit at Burbank Public Library at burbank.gov. You can read about all the different requirements, but that's pretty awesome. Another event on Tuesday, June 24th from 6:30 to 8 for 6th grade through 12th graders is Craft with Pride. You can make custom buttons, keychains, and friendship bracelets, which is pretty awesome. It's great to see that our libraries are supporting all of our students. And I know it goes without saying for all of us on the board that, you know, even though June is designated as Pride Month, that we are exceptionally proud of our LGBTQIA plus students, staff, and families, our unwavering support for you always. And I look forward to doing what I always nerdily do, which is driving around and looking at all the pride flags flying in front of all of our schools. I think it sends, especially right now, a really positive, important, and strong message that everybody has a home in Burbank.
Ms. Cano.
Okay. Yeah, well, you spaced out, so did I. So, Council PTA, I'm sorry I didn't recognize you. A number of hours is amazing. And yeah, what happens that we're very unique here, again, in Burbank, because I don't work in this district. You know, the parents, I really want to applaud the parents. And then all the people that are in PTSA and PTAs, because so much gets done, and it's because the community comes in and supports the whole thing. So, yes, I'm a card-carrying PTA member at Stevenson. Oh, yeah, but it's my own plate. Steal my thunder, just steal my thunder.
Let her finish. Thank you.
I'm still the new kid on the block, remember? I get that till June,
She's a part
remember?
of us.
You promised I'll
Thank
till
you.
June.
She's past the 4 months, 6 months, whatever requirement.
Okay. Well, I was, the Boys and Girls Club had their gala, and I went, and it was great seeing the Roosevelt kids and the Edison kids did a big, like a stage show, and they did singing, dancing. They had props, and there was a bus that came out. It was like amazing. And I basically just on that, I just personally, on my personal note, I got my 20-year button yesterday from Montebello. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So anyways, I just want to say that I'm really excited about all the graduations that are coming up next week, and I wanted to wish all the graduates continued success on wherever, you know, the next chapter in their journey. And I want to wish Lala and Rose and, well, not Hike's not graduating, but Lala and Rose, you know, congratulate them. And for all the students who are going to be attending summer school, I want them to know that we're putting together fun and instructional programs, and for basically all staff, faculties, students, moms and dads, have a great summer, make smart choices, and get some rest.
Thank you. Ms. Tabbitt.
My mother was very old-fashioned, Ms. Cano, and she used to say, if I didn't care about you, I wouldn't pay any attention to you at all. So all that poking just means we love you. There we go.
They really love it.
Lots. Okay, I would like to thank Council PTSA for inviting us to the lovely luncheon last week. I enjoyed myself getting to talk to colleagues and other PTA members and find out what's going on at their schools, all while enjoying a yummy lunch from Tequila's. So congratulations to all the new and incoming PTA boards, and thank you for volunteering and doing all that work that, is never ending, but appreciated. Congratulations to all of our graduating seniors and all of the scholarship winners this week. Do we keep track of exactly how much money is given out to the two schools? It's in the tens of thousands of dollars. It would be a good report. So thank you to all of those who give out scholarships, including our PTAs, and congratulations to those seniors. The other thing, Kara Clark reminded me, there's an unsung hero in our schools that nobody ever stops to think about how much work goes into putting together a yearbook, especially a high school yearbook that's like hundreds of pages and is a history forever. I know there are times where I still pull that 1983 yearbook off the shelf and take a look at things that someone brought up or mentioned. So thank you to those yearbook advisors at our high schools, at our middle schools, and some of our elementary schools have parents that put together a yearbook. So it is a ton of work. I was the yearbook advisor for a while. At my middle school, it's a ton of work and a thankless job. So we're saying thank you for that. Mm-hmm. And then finally, on Tuesday, I got to attend with my fellow board member and fellow colleagues from admin the swearing in of Burbank's new police chief, Rafael Quintero, with an N. Excited to steal him away from Glendale. He's a very good guy. Looking forward to it. We have an extremely good relationship with our city partners, especially our police and fire departments. And it was from Chief Quintero who said, Glendale's gold, but Burbank is platinum. And I loved that, so I've stolen it, and I use it, as you've heard tonight, every chance I get. So that is us. We are at the platinum level. Go us. So that's all. Thank you.
Vice President Ponser Kamkar.
I don't have a ton to add. I also attended the swearing-in ceremony. The new police chief seems very, very great. And I'm looking forward to working with him. And looking forward to all of the many, many, many graduations next week. I had something else, but I forgot it, so who cares? If I don't remember it, it must not be that important.
Birthday?
It is not my birthday. Oh, but happy birthday to Tracy that Jacob brought up. I forgot that one for my notes. So he wished her a happy birthday in French and Spanish. I'll just do it in English. That's all.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. Couple of events. I did also go to the Boys and Girls Club event with my colleague. Shout out to the whole team there, because it rained. It was an outside event. Yeah, Shanna and the team. So the National Charity League was there, and it just in the middle started raining. And it was beautiful. It was on the set right by the, Batmobile. And I learned the Batmobile runs on gas, not electricity. So, yes. So anyways, but it was a great event. They always throw the best. I love their events, and their auction items are just fantastic. My kid actually looks forward every year to the Boys and Girls Club because his Star Wars set is literally built from the Boys and Girls Club auction item. So great event, and continue supporting them. They're now Burbank and the greater LA. They've grown. They're one of the biggest ones now, and more than ever, we need them. I did also attend the chief of police, Mr. Quintero's, we call him the Q. I know him from Glendale. So he's a good friend of mine. I'm very happy he's the new police chief. Yes, Glendale is gold, and we are platinum. We're platinum. So he's amazing, and we're gonna go grab lunch. I'm looking forward to working with him. He's just, I've known him for a long time. So congratulations, and to you and your family. Also, I did also attend a town hall, which was put together by the Armenian National Committee of America, where our assembly member was there. It was informative, and Armenian National Committee of America, again, they're putting these informative events together. I'd love to one day talk to them also about doing one about education as well. And then last but not least, it's graduation time. Lala and Rose, I know they're graduating. But this graduation is also very special for me, because last time I was the president, it was in the middle of the pandemic. So I never got on stage, and yes. So this will be technically my first graduation where I actually get to go on stage, and because again, last time it was during the pandemic, and but do I need to practice? Yes. Oh. Because I couldn't do it last time. Yes. You were there.
On a stage?
Well, not.
No,
Well, no.
there's no. I was very clear there were no stages involved.
There
That's
was
what
a
I was-
speaking platform.
No stages. I got very nervous.
Okay.
FPTSD goes to the stage.
Okay, so. Okay, so I guess I'm very excited that I will be on a platform.
I literally just didn't know what you were talking about. I was not making
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying it was because I was really bummed last time, and I was like, it was during the pandemic. We did it via Zoom. It was kind of interesting, but I don't know. It seems like 30 years ago, right, with the pandemic and the whole, But we handled it well, I think. So I want to just give out a shout out to all of our graduates, but also I want to close. We just had resolutions today about the LGBTQI, the Pride Month, and also with Harvey Milk. But I want to remind everyone right now what's happening with all this in our country with this whole attack on DEI and you can't use certain words, we just lost $500,000 at the district because there was funds were intended for certain communities. No, not here. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Clarification. Yeah, don't have an. Okay. Yes. And it's unfortunate because sorry. Look at John panicking. No, for clarification, it was at East LA College. So we're seeing a lot of cuts there in areas, and then DEI, and also and it's very difficult. And I think as a district, we've been really good in making sure that, hate has no home, as I always say, but I think what's happening right now just in our country, it's unfortunate. I think I was very proud when we created the DEI committee to address some of these concerns. I think people have to realize that it's important, Again, I always say, unless you're Native American, great. If not, then don't talk about, concerns about immigrants coming here and all those issues. I think we're having brain drains right now with all these policies out there. And eventually, as a country, I think we will pay the price down the road. But I want to make sure everyone understands that this country was built on diversity. This country was built on, equality and equity. And I think it's important to remember certain individuals out there are being targeted. And there's policy out there discriminating against them. And educational institutions are losing money because of this. So I won't go further with that. I just want to make sure people understand we can put up flags, we can talk about this, but I think we also need to talk about also how important this is for a lot of communities and how important it is for them to come to this country. And right now, they're facing all these challenges. So with that said, retirements.
That's right, he's got it.
Oh, it's in front of me. Oh, yeah. I figured it out. Thank you. And thank you for all your assistance. Thank you. Thank you. We have one retirement. James Decay or Decay? Decay. James Decay, Burroughs High School, began at 1/14/2005. Mr. Decay, congratulations. Yeah. Oh, you're going back to New York after 20 years. Oh. Well, we'll wish you the best, and with that, we're gonna adjourn the meeting at what time is it? 9:50. 9:50. Thank you.